Hello, everybody, and welcome to historic Veterans Field here in beautiful Chatham, Massachusetts. It is time for Cape Cod Baseball League baseball action as the Harwich Mariners will be visiting the Chatham A's. Hello, everybody, I'm Tyler Henry, joined as always by Colin Casey, and we've got a good one on tap tonight. The first Eastern matchup for both of these two teams. Chatham comes into this game at 2-1. All three of those games coming against, or two of the three games coming against, no, sorry, all three of those games coming against the West, while both of Harwich's games came against teams from the West, one against Bourne and the other against Falmouth. On the bump out there for the Harwich Mariners today will be Buddy Hayward. We'll have a full preview on him, but first let's run through the lineup for the visiting Harwich Mariners. Hitting at third base will be Cam Thompson, left fielder Chris Gallant, first baseman Bobby Seymour, DH Nico Cavadas, center fielder Joey Weimer, right fielder Mike Ludwig, second baseman Christian Fedko, catcher Jackson Greer, shortstop Danny Harris the fourth. And a lineup that we've seen some of these guys before, quite a few of them actually returning to this lineup today, Colin. A lineup that finally was able to strike for 3 runs and get the first win of the season for Harwich just a day or 2 days ago. What do you like about this lineup coming into this game?
Well, Coach Engler kept the 7 and 8 spot the same, which was Christian Fedko and Jackson Greer, who accounted for 3 runs, all 3 of the runs, I should say, in Wednesday's game against Bourne. They did a great job at the bottom of the order, especially with those righty-lefty matchups against the starter Nick Demkowski. Greer, of course, with the first home run of the season for the Mariners, so hopefully that power will spread throughout the lineup here tonight in Chatham.
Absolutely. Take a look at the lineup for the homestanding Chatham Anglers. They will start in left field, Caden Polkovich, center fielder Colin Hall, first baseman Jamal O'Gwyn, shortstop Ben Ramirez, catcher Charlie Welsh, third baseman Paxton Wallace, right fielder Aiden Fernandez, second baseman Anthony Villar, and DH Vinny Bologna. And out there on the bump for the Chatham A's will be R.J. Dabovich, the Arizona State product, who was coming off of a bit of an injury. He had the injury against USC just a week after one of his worst outings against the University of Arizona on March 31st, but was able to bounce back, had a little bit of a rehab assignment, and then came back to the team as one of the top arms out of the bullpen. We will have more pregame, including the national anthem, coming up right after this. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Ellie has grown up going to Anglers games and is in her third summer of interning for the team. She is in her second summer of interning at the Atwood Museum. Ellie O'Reilly is from Northern Virginia and just finished her junior year at Cornell. Ellie has sung in many musicals and choirs previously, including her a cappella group, The Callbacks at Cornell, and her role as Ariel in her high school's production of The Little Mermaid. She sang the national anthem for all home games in high school and is a regular singer of the national anthem here at Veterans Field with tonight's national anthem, Ellie O'Reilly.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And with that, we welcome you back to Veterans Field here in Chatham. Tyler, Henry, Colin, Casey, just a few moments away from opening pitch of this one between the Chatham A's and the Harwich Mariners. Again, Harwich coming into this game 1-1 with a bounce back against Bourne. And it was supposed to be a home-and-home, Colin, but of course weather conditions played into that. The first day, they couldn't get the field ready in time. And then, of course, yesterday, just pouring down rain. So that game has been scheduled for White House Field on Monday, which means the road trip has been extended a little bit here. Harwich's first first 4 games will come on the road. The 2 that have already been played, today's game at Chatham, and a doubleheader, not a doubleheader, a game tomorrow against Katuitt. So plenty of action there, and I'm sure these guys are as ready as we are to get back to a home game, aren't they?
Yeah, and unfortunately, as I check the weather forecast the next week, rain predicted for Sunday and Monday, and Tuesday as well. So just not a great start to the season weather-wise, but tonight got a little bit of cloud cover here and there, but other than that, a beautiful night for some baseball and a beautiful night for the Harwich Mariners to get above 500 for the first time this season.
Yep, absolutely. Out there taking some warm-up pitches. R.J. Dabovich touched on him a little bit in the pregame, and he'll be the one that this Mariners lineup will be facing off against. Let me run through that lineup one more time for you listeners at home. At third base will be Cam Thompson leading things off, then left fielder Chris Galland, first baseman Bobby Seymour, DH Nico Cavadas, center fielder Joey Weimer, right fielder Mike Ludwig, second baseman Christian Fedko, who has changed jersey numbers from 35 to 21, catcher Jackson Greer, shortstop Danny Harris IV. And really quickly take a look at other action going on around the Cape. This is the late game today, so a couple of games already in progress. Through 6 innings, Katuitt is up on the Brewster Whitecaps big time, 7-2. Early on in their matchup, Falmouth has a 1-0 lead over the Harbor Hawks of Hyannis. One game that has actually been called off due to field conditions. Again, everybody battling that right now is the one between the Bourne Braves and the YD Red Sox. So Bourne will have to wait even longer to play their third game of the season. The Wareham Gatemen trail the Orleans Firebirds 1-0. And here we are just about ready for first pitch, as stepping up to the plate will be Cam Thompson taking his first hacks against R.J. Dabovich. It's the Chatham A's out there in their red jerseys, white pants, jerseys trimmed in white letters for Harwich. They are in their visiting grays. I'm sure they've done plenty of sets of laundry getting those ready for another road game here. Red letters trimmed in white. Dabovich comes set, working out of the stretch to start this one, and we are underway here at Veterans Field. First pitch is a fastball that will miss low for ball 1.
Yeah, Dabovich with experience as both a starter and a reliever has found some success in both areas, and that's the versatility you really want in your bullpen and in your starting rotation.
Dabovich's second pitch will also just miss the zone. You're going to see about 94 to 97 miles an hour on that fastball. Also dabbles with a changeup, a curveball, and a slider. So your standard 4-pitch guy. Nothing too special there, but it's the way he makes it work that has been so effective, both at Arizona State and now here at Chatham. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. That one will be swung on and taken into left field. Tracking it back is Polkovich, and he'll make the catch for out number 1.
The left fielder from Boston College, number 36.
Yeah, Thompson trying to go the other way with that ball. It was a good pitch to take the other way, running the outside corner, but that one hanging up plenty of time for Caden Palkovich to make the play.
So that will bring up Chris Gallant, who actually led off for the Harwich Mariners back in the season opener, which doesn't feel like it, but it was 4 whole days ago in that loss to Falmouth. So he'll dig in from the right-hand side. First pitch will miss high. It looked like he tried to pull the string on him with a changeup there.
Gallant spent a little bit of time with the Mariners last year. 1 home run was a walk-off home run.
Yep, made it memorable. As a slider will miss inside here. The count now 2-0, and this is the second hitter here that Dabovich has fallen behind.
Gallant also batted the leadoff in the opener, went 0 for 3 with a walk.
Yep, so trying to improve upon that. The Boston College product. Here's the 2-0. Fastball, that'll miss low. So the only strike we've seen Dabovich throw so far was the one put in play by Cam Thompson that flew out to left. He's in danger of giving Gallant his second walk of the season here in a Harwich uniform. Dabovich sets the 3-0. And it's a fastball right down Main Street for strike 1. So the count now 3-1.
Almost certain the take sign was on there from the third base coach with a 3-0 count, and Dabovich kind of struggling to find the zone in these first couple of hitters.
Couple of options for him here. He comes with a 3-1, and that one will be fouled away. So he's worked the count back to full here. R.J. Dabovich, drafted in the 2018 draft by the Kansas City Royals, wasn't actually notified by the Kansas City Royals, but found out from a text from one of his teammates. Said, "Bro, congratulations." He's just trying to enjoy a morning bowl of cereal. Finds out he got drafted. This one will be hit just over the head of Wallace at third. It's a little flare. Turning the corner is Gallant. He's going to try to go to second. He's out by a mile. An excellent throw there by Polkovich. And boy, aggressive base running there by Chris Gallant. Not sure if he was sent by the first base coach or if he went on his own doing, but he was out by a good 3 steps.
Yeah, and there wasn't a whole lot of good contact on that swing. I think the bat might have kind of splintered as it made contact, but flared over the third baseman's head, but the throw coming in from shallow left got him plenty of time. So a little bit of a base running error for the Mariners. Now with 2 outs, it'll be Bobby Seymour.
The old 7-4 put out. So Seymour will step to the dish, batting from the left-hand side. Dabovich's first offering to him is a curveball in there for strike 1. Dabovich has some good velocity. Talked about that fastball. He has gotten up to 98 at times, but as a starter, a little more conservative. This pitch also finds the zone here, right around the knees. The count now 0-2.
Manager Tom Holliday says that he's looking to do the 3-3-3 strategy out of the bullpen, so expect 3 innings from Dabovich and then 3 from the next guy.
Yep, and he's used that before. It's a good tool early in the season to kind of figure out who you've got. Dabovich comes set, the 0-2. That'll miss up around the eyes. An easy pitch for Bobby Seymour to lay off of.
Yeah, it looks like Luke Bartnicki from Georgia Tech is scheduled to relieve Dabovich when the time comes.
Seymour still standing in from the left-hand side. 1-2 pitch. That'll miss inside, and the count even at 2-2. Of course, his second season for Tom Holliday here coaching the Chatham A's. Last year, made it all the way to the final. Taken out by Wareham, and I'm sure he'd love nothing more than a crack at hoisting that trophy at the end of this season. 2-2 pitch. Got him looking just there on the outside edge, and the Mariners go 3 up, 3 down to start the first. We head to the home half of the first inning. Still knotted up at 0 here from Veterans Field. It's Mariners and A's on the Mariners Radio Network. Back to baseball here at Veterans Field. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey, bringing you coverage of Harwich Mariners baseball here on YouTube Live. Mariners go quietly through their half of the first, so now it'll be an opportunity for Chatham. Talking about the top three in their lineup, and Caden Polkovich, Colin Hall, and Jamal O'Gwyn. They'll have to face off against Buddy Hayward here in his first start. And Colin, what can you tell us about Buddy here in his Harwich Mariners starting debut?
Well, he's got some experience in summer baseball with a season with the New Bedford Bay Sox last year. A very talented team, just off the Cape, actually, out here in Eastern Mass. So he's got some good stuff. He's got 4 pitches, a fastball, curve, slider, change. Very similar to Dabovich, who's got the same repertoire, essentially. Had a solid season, 4-1 with a 4.13 ERA. Struck out 47 while walking 29 in 48 innings pitched. The Harvard sophomore from Plantation, Florida, getting his first start with the Harwich Mariners.
Yep, and similar to what we saw out of Dabovich, he will be pitching out of the stretch to start the game. So Caden Polkovich will take his first hacks here. Chatham trying to strike first. They won their first 2 games of the year in come-from-behind fashion. A big-time win on the road to start the year. It came against Hyannis. First pitch will miss low and away. And then, of course, in their second game, able to make a comeback push in the latter part of that one as well. Big swing and a miss. As taking a little bit off of that pitch was Buddy Hayward. Count even at 1-1. Polkovich standing in for the left-hand side. And pitching now out of the windup is Hayward. A little soft contact right back to him, and he'll flip it to first in time for out number 1.
First out doesn't come much easier than that. 3 pitches and an easy chopper for Hayward to field. Mark that one a 1-3 in your scorebook if you keep the score at home.
So that will bring up Colin Hall, tonight's center fielder for Chatham, the Georgia Tech product. Looking to cap on to the end of a pretty solid season himself. Started in all 62 games of Georgia Tech's. 307 batting average, 4 home runs for him 1 season ago. And another lefty here in the lineup for Coach Tom Holliday. Here's the first pitch from Hayward, and that'll miss up and away for ball 1. Hayward going to work pretty quickly here, similar to what we've seen out of several of these starters, not wasting too much time. So that pitch misses low and away. It's now a 2-0 count.
Last summer, it was Hall over in Hyannis with the Harbor Hawks.
So sliding across the Eastern Division here, a division that neither one of these two teams has seen coming into this one. 5 combined games, all against the West.
A lot of strikeouts for Hall. Struck out 12 times out of 30 at-bats with the Harbor Hawks last year.
Hayward puts a fastball in there for strike 1. The count now 3-1. Take sign on for Colin Hall the entire way. But the green light turned on with a 3-1 count. Here's the pitch. And that one will just miss outside, so a 5-pitch walk issued to Colin Hall. That's the first base runner of the game.
Yeah, good patience there for a guy who strikes out a lot. So first base runner of the game for either team, and now it's the USC part of the lineup with the 3 and 4 hitters. So Jamal again will try to at least move that runner up. Maybe a ball in the gap will give Chatham an early lead here in the bottom of the first.
Yep, O'Gwyn, the first righty in the lineup, hitting with a runner on base, and Colin Hall over there on first. So now going to the stretch will be Buddy Hayward. See what he's got in store here. Pretty decent lead over there at first for Colin Hall. Hayward comes home. First pitch is in there, right around the knees for strike 1. So the old 3 innings a pitcher thing going on for Chatham today. Obviously for Harwich, it's been about 5, but they've had 2 phenomenal starts out of their guys in the first 2 meetings. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that one will miss. Looked like a slider that broke low in the dirt. The count now 1-1.
And Tyler, we know the difference between those 2 games was the bullpen and the way they pitched. In the first game, it was a big-time struggle against Falmouth, but they really turned things around against Bourne, and we'll see how they can handle, hopefully, a lead for the Mariners later in this game.
1-1 count, swing and a miss at the ball down in the dirt, and yeah, Colin, I mean, an incredible outing by Tommy Vale, and then, of course, Joe Boyle, who I believe combined for 8 strikeouts
Yeah, I know Boyle had 5 out of 6 batters,
Yep.
which is just absurd.
So between the final innings there, able to secure a 3-1 victory over Bourne as Hayward throws over to first. Yeah, definitely a tale of two bullpens, and I'm sure we'll see that continue to develop as the season goes on, but finding a couple of guys that, at least early on in the season, have looked very reliable in Tommy Vale and Joe Boyle. Right now, it's Buddy Hayward, a 1-2 count on Jamal O'Gwin. Big righty, takes a big hack at that pitch and swings right through it. First strikeout of the day for Hayward, out number 2 for the Mariners.
Number 49, Ben Ramirez.
That's a tough out to get there, and O'Gwin, whereas batting average at USC, his batting average starts, at-bats, runs, hits, doubles, home runs, RBIs, walks, and stolen bases all increasing after his freshman year. So this is a guy who's really improved over the last year, and a good fastball is out number 2.
So he will go to his teammate now, who sends this one to center field. Settling under it here is Weimer, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. That was Ben Ramirez flying out. So Chatham gets a runner on, but ends up going quietly. We head to the second inning, still knotted up at 0. Mariners and A's here on the Harwich Radio Network.
As well. So check it out. At the
Welcome back to Chatham, folks, as we are scoreless after one inning of play between the Anglers and the Harwich Mariners. This broadcast of Harwich Mariners baseball is brought to you in part by Curry College. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
So all knotted up at 0. We head now to the second inning of play. And leading things off for Harwich will be Nico Cavadas. A lot of potential in Cavadas, and he's actually ready to keep things going here. Harwich went 3 up, 3 down in the first, partially because Chris Galland decided to try to swipe second. Just couldn't quite make it there. But Cavadas leading off a new inning. Davovich still out there on the bump for the A's. Davovich set, still pitching out of the stretch. First pitch misses high for ball 1. And Colin, it's interesting, a lot of these teams, if not all of these teams, named after Major League Baseball squads at some point or another in the long, rich history of this league. But, of course, there was a little bit of a dispute there, and so teams were given the option to either pay a small fee, as this pitch misses low and away, or change up the name. And that's why you get teams like the Hyannis Harbor Hawks instead of the Mets, and, of course, the Chatham Anglers instead of the traditional Chatham A's, as they're still referred to by the loyal fan base. Davovich sets, and this one will miss high. So once again, falling behind the hitter here, 3-0.
This is the 11th season, I believe, that the Anglers have played under the Anglers name. I think it really fits this area of the Cape pretty well.
Yep, absolutely. 3-0 from Davovich, and that's a high fastball. That'll miss. So Cavadas given a free pass down to first. Only 2 base runners in this game, 1 for each team, and both put on base via a walk. So Joey Weimer will step to the plate now, an opportunity with nobody out and a runner on here. And if you're wondering if it was the injury for Davovich that may be leading to some of these guys he's falling behind, I can confirm it wasn't. I mean, I was watching him just a few weeks ago at Arizona State. Looked really good in a couple of high-pressure situations, one of which came against UCLA, who at the time was number 1 in the country. As here, he will miss another high fastball. And the count now 1-0. So he looked really good after the rehab assignment, but just kind of losing a little bit of control here as he tries to straighten things out for the Anglers. Cavadas will take a standard lead at first. Standing in here, Joey Weimer. Led off the game against the Bourne Braves a few days ago, and he'll watch a slider down low for strike one, the count even at 1 apiece.
And I like this move by Coach Englert, putting Weimer right there in the middle of the lineup at the 5 spot. Not only does he bring you some pop, but also a lot of speed. So we'll have to see if Weimer's speed will be a factor as much as it was in Bourne.
Sharply hit to third, picked up. They'll go the long way, then the short way, and a double play. 5-4-3, Wallace VR O'Gwin, sorry. And the bases are cleared here for the Mariners in the second.
Well, I guess I jinxed him there. He grounded into that double play. I mean, granted, that ball was hit really hard to third base, so most guys wouldn't be able to beat that ball out, but a great turn by the Anglers, and now they're 1 out away from getting out of this inning.
Yep, an excellent job there by Ben Wallace, able to glove it and turn it to second. So coming up here will be Michael Ludwig, batting from the left-hand side. The first pitch he sees is a ball down in the dirt. It's the count 1-0 on him as well, and so far, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Dabovich has started off a single hitter with a strike yet. Working very quickly here, 1-0 pitch coming. This one will be taken softly. Once again, it's going to be Wallace who scoops it, throw to first, and not able to dig it out in time is O'Gwin. So an excellent job by Ludwig outrunning that, and an infield single for the Mariners.
So not only was the 1-hitter moved down to 5, but the 2-hitter was moved down to 6. So Ludwig right there in the middle of the lineup as well, and he's got some speed out in right field. So a weak chopper to third, and he was able to run that out and pick up the second hit of the game for the Mariners.
Ludwig with an infield single back in the third inning of 2 days ago's matchup against the Bourne Braves. He's hitting 4 of his last 5, all of which were base hits. So nothing extra there, just doing a good job making contact and making the most of it. This will bring up Christian Fedko, who finally will get a first pitch strike out of R.J. Dabovich.
93 on that last fastball from Dabovich, so velocity obviously not at the 96, 98 level, but you got to keep into account that he's starting in this game.
Absolutely. His next pitch, a slider will miss low, and the count even at 1-1. Originally, he was ASU's Saturday starter, but got moved into that relief role following the injury.
And I'm sure that mindset certainly changes from pitchers when it comes to starting versus relieving.
Oh, absolutely. Check swing here didn't matter as Fedko watches strike 2 go right by. So runner on first, still 2 away. Christian Fedko looking to extend the inning out into there in a New Jersey. He is out there wearing 21. I believe he was in 30, I think it was 38 before. Was kind of swimming in it as he fouls this one away. Actually, it was 37. But either way, an awfully big jersey for Christian Fedko. We saw, I mean, he had a pretty good view from field level. He had it tucked in, but still a lot of jersey there, and that can definitely be distracting when you're trying to make contact. Dabovich will toss over to first. A little bit closer than I'm sure Ludwig would have liked, but he dives back in safely.
No surprise that there's a pretty hefty crowd on hand here tonight, Friday night in the summer. Out here in Chatham, bleachers just completely packed behind home plate.
Well, it is a beautiful beautiful evening, I should say, for some baseball. 1-2 pitch from Dabovich, swing and a miss down in the dirt. They will have to make the throw, and they will, so that will retire the inning. Fedko goes down on strikes. Mariners still looking for their first. We head to the home half of the second. Chatham looking to strike when we come back here on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
50-50 raffle will be held tonight. From Chatham Ivy.
Welcome back to Veterans Field. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey still knotted up at 0 as the Chatham A's look to strike here in the second inning. And Colin, this is the first time we've had a lineup out of this Harwich team, where every single player had been in one of the first 2 games. So no new faces in the starting lineup for them. They've kind of gotten comfortable with the guys that they have, and a couple more faces will be showing up this weekend, but it worked out 1-1 on the season, and now looking to pick up that all-inclusive second win, try to jump their way up into the Eastern standings.
Well, it's good to have an experienced lineup here. No jitters from any of these guys. They know what to expect here at this Cape League level, and they're looking to really impress here in either their second or third games for some of these guys.
So coming up to bat will be the catcher, Charlie Welch. He digs in for the right-hand side. First pitch to him will miss down in the dirt. Zipped in there by Buddy Hayward. Take a look at the history between these two teams, at least in the 2018 season. Harwich faced Chatham 6 times, lost to Chatham 6 times. So looking to beat them for the first time in over a year. As this pitch misses down in the zone, the count now 2-0. Seems like one of those teams that's just had the Mariners' number as Hayward comes in, and that misses up around helmet level. Got to be careful with the chin music there. Charlie Welch will now have a 3-0 count.
Yeah, I think that ball definitely slipped out of his hands on that one because the radar gun shows that there wasn't a whole lot of velocity in that, so I think he might have been going for the off speed and it just completely slipped out of his hand.
I was going to say, despite the fact that these two teams, one has a history of beating the other, definitely no ill will there. And now a 4-pitch walk issued to Charlie Welch.
The third baseman from Wichita
And not the
State,
way you want to
number
open up the
13,
bottom of the second here, putting the leadoff man on 4 pitches. So, like the Anglers did in the top half of the first, I'm sure the Mariners will look for a double play ball here, and their middle infielders certainly prepared for it.
And they'll have to try to get it against Paxton Wallace, the Wichita State product. Coming set is Hayward. First pitch in there for a fastball strike. It's been a pretty good week to be a Wichita State product. Take a look at Fred Van Fleet,
Right.
who ended up getting himself a ring. The NBA Finals, of course, wrapping up last night. And in case you haven't already heard the news, Klay Thompson came back to shoot a couple free throws on a torn ACL. As this pitch will miss low and inside.
Back to Van Vliet. He actually picked up 1 MVP vote. The rest, of course, going to Kawhi Leonard.
Fair enough.
Pivotal role in those last couple of games for the Raptors.
Well, and especially for a guy that, undrafted out of Wichita State, not highly sought after at the college level, but able to bounce back. Paxton Wallace, a guy from the same place, he'll watch a ball down in the dirt and make the count 2-1.
A lot of guys also outside of the lottery on that team, up and down the lineup. Fred Van Vliet, of course, mentioned undrafted. Pascal Siakam was taken in the 20s. Just talent all over that roster, and it really came together, and they knocked off a very tough opponent.
Absolutely. Here's the 2-1. That one will be flared out to right. Chasing it in is Ludwig. Will make the catch. A chance to double him up at second, or at first, and he does. Not sure what was going through the mind of Charlie Welch, who got caught in no man's land between first and second base. It was a shallow flare. Ludwig caught it pretty easily, didn't have to make a crazy play, and then zips it into Seymour to double him up.
Now, I was talking about how they were looking for that double play. I don't think that's exactly how the Mariners had that drawn up in their head,
Not
but
just
they
how
will
they drew it
certainly
up.
take it. Yep.
That's exactly, I'm sure, what was on the whiteboard of Coach Engler. First pitch to Aiden Fernandez, swung on and missed pretty sharply there. Trying to make good contact there.
Fernandez spent last summer with the Newmarket Rebels of the VBL, the Valley League.
Hayward ready with the 0-1 pitch. And that one is in there for a strike. So the count now 0-2. Yeah, back to your point, Fernandez talked about where he spent last summer. He's a Florida International product, as is one of the better pitchers for the Harwich team. Opening day starter in Logan Allen from FIU. Here's the 0-2. Big swing and a miss, strike 3, and the side is retired. Fernandez down on strikes. We head to the third, still looking for our first score. It's Mariners and A's here on the Harwich Radio Network. Back out there on the hill for his third and potentially final inning of work here is RJ Dabovich. As we mentioned before, Tom Holliday likes to go with that 3-3-3 setup with his pitchers, so could be the last we see out of Dabovich. And the guys trying to hit him will be the bottom part of the order, followed by the leadoff man. It'll be Jackson Greer, Danny Harris, and Cam Thompson. Greer, of course, had maybe one of the weirder home runs I think you or I have seen. A ball that definitely had the distance, was hooking right over the foul pole, and neither the third base umpire or the home plate umpire, both of which were staring at it, made the call. Greer decided to just trot all the way around the bases, and they didn't bring him back. So that was much to the chagrin of the Bourne head coach, but either way, a home run, and didn't really need it. Harwich was able to win by 2 in that one. But the only guy to send one over the fence this season for the Mariners, standing at the plate now from the right-hand side, and he'll foul off the first pitch he sees from Dabovich.
One thing's for certain on that home run, it had plenty of distance. I mean, it really carried out of the park, probably by a good 50 feet. It was one of those line drives that just kept carrying and carrying. It was almost like it was getting higher as it was leaving the park.
Yeah, he said it to our very own Alex Weiner as he will take this one, another little flare, and that one will fall on the other side of Ben Wallace. So a soft contact, again, maybe broke a little piece of his bat off there. And Wallace could have gloved it, but he was looking the other way, so he kind of just lost track of it. Brought Polkovich in from right, and once again, the Mariners have a runner on with nobody out.
Yeah, it was really similar to Chris Gallen's hit in the first inning. Gallen, of course, tried stretching that one out and got thrown out from left field. So, once again, another leadoff man on for the second time in as many innings for the Mariners.
Well, and that's got to feel good. The hits were the biggest issue in that first game, a loss to Falmouth, where they only had 4 hits in the entire game. Already 2 here in the third inning. And here's some pretty good contact, but once again, right at third base, Wallace picks it up. They won't be able to turn it, so they're able to eliminate Greer at second. Danny Harris will reach on a fielder's choice.
The third baseman, number 3,
It hit it about as hard there to third base on that play, but it took a little bit of time getting out of the glove there was Wallace, and that was enough for Harris to reach base with 1 away.
Well, it almost looked like Villar caught it flat-footed over there at second base, but a lot of good speed out of Danny Harris, and he's able to reach first. So the situation is the same, just add an out, runner at first, and we head back to Cam Thompson at the top of the order, who swings the first pitch he sees. This one will be hit into foul territory over there into the Chatham A's bullpen.
Had to take a deep breath on that one. My car is parked over there.
Got to be awfully careful. You got that primetime parking. And you may have been very close to figuring out why it was that cheap. Just kidding. Free parking here for anybody and everybody. Find a spot, park the car, come on out to the ballpark. It's a beautiful evening. Here's the sun begins to set. Dabovich, another good move over to first, but not good enough to get Danny Harris.
Yeah, solid pickoff move, especially for a right-handed pitcher. Who are, they are obviously at a disadvantage with their back to first base. But a quick step back and a quick pivot over to first. And a pretty big lead over at first base for Harris.
Yep, a lot of speed out there for Harris, and he's definitely not afraid to use it. That'll prompt another throw, and this time he gets him. Danny Harris gets caught sleeping, is unable to get back in time, 2 away.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of us out here saw that coming. He had a really large lead, and Dabovich wasn't afraid to throw over a second time, and he got him by a sizable margin. That's out number 2.
Yeah, I think Harris fully expecting a pitch home, not a throw over to first again. So the bases are empty here for Cam Thompson, who will watch a pitch miss up around the eyes. And the count even at 1-1. Thompson, the Kansas State Wildcat, here in his first year with the Mariners. Watches another ball go by, same pitch. Took him off speed with a changeup and missed high. Spent last season out of the Alaskan Baseball League with the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. And then, of course, came to Harwich there at the tail end of that season. So actually a repeat player here as he swings through another off-speed pitch, and the count now even at 2-2.
Thompson still looking for his first hit of the year. Did not play in Wednesday's game. And on Monday he reached base via a walk, but was 0 for 3.
Another guy trying to earn his keep, as a lot of big names will be coming in over the weekend. He'll watch a fastball miss inside, ducks out of the way, and the count has been worked full. Big opportunity for a lot of guys that are currently on temp contracts, and A couple of them have said, you know, it's not really something they think about. They're just here to have some fun, enjoy some good baseball, and hopefully get to stick around. Full count, payoff pitch. Soft contact once again into right center field, and that will get down well in front of Hall, who makes the pickup. But another base hit, and you got to wonder, with a runner on first, you could have runners at the corners with one away, but with Danny Harris getting picked off, 2 away, runner at first. Still not a big threat here, and Chris Galland will step up to the dish.
Oh, and Harris would have absolutely been safe on third, running on contact with the ball, landing partly in the gap. I mean, he would have been into third standing, and it would be a great situation, especially with one away for your two-hitter.
You can see right now Thompson kind of leaning back towards first as the first pitch from Dabovich to Chris Galland is in there for a strike. Galland, local product from Sandbury, Massachusetts. Mentioned he's from Boston College as well. Team that went 31-27. Lost in the ACC finals. Another close move over to first as Cam Thompson's just barely able to slide back in. You got to wonder if maybe Harwich might want to shorten up on some of these leads over at first.
It's about a 4-step lead, about somewhere between 3.5 and 4 steps, which is a pretty big one.
And Dabovich will come again, and he gets him again. So 2 of the 3 outs in the inning are pickoffs from R.J. Dabovich. I mean, I don't really know what to say. You got to be a little bit more careful than that. Either way, the Mariners able to get 3 runners on, all 3 put away. So the minimum faced in the third. We head to the home half, still knotted up at 0. You're listening to Harwich Mariners baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back to Veterans Field. More baseball action coming up here on the Harwich Radio Network. And it'll be the same part of the order for Harwich that just came up for Chatham, 8, 9, and 1. So we'll get to see Anthony Villar and also Vinny Bologna, the 9-hole DH today. And man, Harwich has had their opportunities, Colin, but a couple of longer leads, a couple of really good pickoff moves from R.J. Dabovich, and a pair of outs on the base paths end up shortening their third inning, shorter than I'm sure they would have liked.
And clearly that's a mistake you don't want to make twice, getting picked off of first base, especially against right-handed pitching. So very frustrating first couple of innings here for Harwich. We have 4 hits and nothing to show for it through 2.
First pitch to Villar misses outside. On the right side, at least for R.J. Dabovich, plenty of scouts turning out to this game, and they all got a good look at his pickoff move as the 1-0 pitch from Hayward is swung on and missed. Kept a fastball low and away there to even the count at 1-1. And the interesting thing about both of those pickoffs, there was a move made before the pickoff that got him both times. So each time, kind of a warning shot fired by Dabovich as this pitch misses low and away, and then went ahead and just took care of business on first.
Yeah, I wonder if they're trying to challenge the catcher here and just trying to make sure they get that aggressive jump.
Swing and a miss at a high fastball to Villar, and the count now at 2-2. Anthony Villar out of Miami University. We'll watch this one miss low and away, and the count now worked full. So Villar, potentially the third guy to walk on to first. Hayward's going to have to be careful. Payoff pitch, and he will. So the pitch count getting a little bit longer here, but in each of the first 3 innings, Buddy Hayward has put somebody on via a walk. He has yet to let anybody move up past first base, despite the fact that 2 of those came relatively early in the inning.
Yeah, a lot of poor base running throughout this game with 2 pickoffs for Harwich. And then getting doubled off was Paxton Wallace for the Anglers back in the 2nd inning from right field.
The old F9-3. So Vinny Bologna steps in from the right-hand side. Big cut taken and missed at the first pitch he sees. Trying to give Chatham a lead here. Not that they've needed one. Talk about the two come-from-behind wins that they've had to start their season. Looking to reclaim their spot at the top of the Eastern standings. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. This time a fastball put down low by Buddy Hayward. Pretty good spot there. The count now 0-2.
And of course, although 3 walks, no hits so far, and you have to really credit pitching coach Jeff Neiman for what he's done with these starting pitchers so far. I mean, you got big league experience right there, and he's really been a huge asset for the Mariners so far in the season.
A lot of options here for Hayward. 0-2 pitch. That'll miss down in the dirt. Looking for it. Picking it up and throwing to second is Greer. The throw not nearly in time as he kind of lost the baseball. So the count goes to 1-2. The runner goes from first to second. And for the first time tonight, the A's will have a runner in scoring position. Not a whole lot Jackson Greer was going to be able to do there as the pitch was low in the dirt. Had to focus on blocking it first and then locating it. But now a runner on second. And a swing and a miss, strikeout number 3. So in addition to walking somebody in each of the first 3 innings, Buddy Hayward has also retired somebody via the strikeout in each of the first 3 innings.
Yeah, so the good and the bad kind of canceling each other out here. But as long as there's zeros on the board, you got to be happy with what he's doing so far. They look to keep those zeros as the top of the order now up. Going to be a challenge for Hayward.
Typically a little bit more strikeout heavy. 47 strikeouts to just 29 walks in his last season. First pitch he throws to Caden Polkovich is in there for strike 1. Polkovich grounded back to the pitcher on a little weak contact back in the first inning. Looking to bring in the first Chatham run of the day. Hayward sets the 0-1, and that one will be taken hard to short, picked up. Throw to first across the diamond is in time, as getting the throw off was Harris. Seymour able to pick it up, and with 2 away, the runner moves up to third, but only 1 needed to get out of the inning unscathed here.
A very aggressive move over at second by VR with the ground ball to the left side, but it wasn't hit all that hard, so VR immediately taking off. Heads-up play gets him 90 feet away from scoring the first run of the ball game.
And trying to bring him in will be Colin Hall, who walked his first time up back in the first. He steps in from the left-hand side with 2 away, and he will make some contact. That'll get through, and the first run of the day belongs to the Anglers. A 2-out hit for Colin Hall.
Now batting for Chatham.
As first run surrendered by a starting pitcher for Harwich this season. Hard hit ball from Hall right between the third baseman and shortstop. And that was their first hit of the game, but it also brought home the first run of the game, and now Chatham owns a 1-0 lead.
Well, that's the old adage they tell every pitcher at every level. You put them on base for free, they're going to find a way to come around, and that's exactly what happened there. It'll be an earned run here for Buddy Hayward. Still an opportunity to get out of the inning with only 1 given up. And the way the Harwich bats are going today, they could very well take advantage. As we'll head to the 4th here after another out. Runner takes off. Greer with a good throw to second. It's in time. Is the tag? It is. So the base running woes for both teams continue as Colin Hall is picked off. An excellent throw by Jackson Greer. And the inning ends on yet another base running gaff. We head to the 4th. Chatham takes a 1-0 lead before we can. Harwich up to bat in the visiting part when we come back. You're listening to Harwich Baseball on the Harwich Radio Network. We go to the fourth. Chatham leads at 1-0. And really quickly, I would like to remind you that tonight's game is brought to you by Cape Cod Healthcare. What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donated at Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donated blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/blood center.
So we get to the top of the fourth inning here from Chatham at Veterans Field. And Chatham with a new pitcher after R.J. Dobovich goes 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 2. And replacing him is Luke Bartnicki.
Yep, Bartnicki, the Georgia Tech product, another one on this team, second we've seen today, and had a bit of a shaky season. 2-2, obviously record for relievers doesn't matter a whole lot, but the big number for him, a 6.75 ERA, 29 strikeouts to 18 walks. So clearly looking to drop that a little bit here, and a big opportunity against the Harwich Mariners, but a lineup that's been getting it done for the most part, just haven't been able to score anybody on the runs.
Bartnicki's fastball usually sits in the low 90s, so we'll see how it goes here. And his first pitch out of the bullpen misses outside. That was to Chris Galland leading things off. Galland was actually at the plate at the end of the top of the first when Cam Thompson was picked off. Second pickoff of the inning. And that one ultimately ended the inning. Count now 1-1.
Well, so far, 5 of the 18 outs, as a curveball's in there for a strike, 5 of the 18 outs have been made due to base running mistakes from both teams. So it has certainly been something I'm sure both teams will be practicing this week.
That one misses. Count now even 2-2. Bartnicki was ranked number 3 nationally out of high school. Very highly touted lefty. And just inside the fastball at 91, 3-2. Galland digs it in the right-handed side. And here's the payoff pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. And so Chris Galland leads things off for the Mariners in the fourth with a single.
Yep, 5th hit of the day for the Harwich Mariners. And again, they've been getting it done with the bats. Just got to make the most of it once they get on. We'll see if they can do that as Bobby Seymour, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout, will come up to the dish now.
Galland was caught stealing.
Well, caught trying to take second.
Yeah, caught trying to take second, excuse me. So let's see if he is on the move here from first. I would be kind of surprised given how troublesome first base has been, and with the lefty on the mound. Lefty-lefty, the matchup with Seymour at the plate, and the first pitch is on the outside corner for strike 1.
You do get a little bit more leeway, at least in terms of your lead. Maybe not in terms of actually taking off towards second, but you can kind of see the move a little bit more easily with that open look.
Bartnicki's second pitch is laced foul down the left field line, right over towards the bullpen, and Seymour falls behind 0-2.
And through these first 2 pitches, Bartnicki kind of varying up how quickly he's coming home, just trying to keep that runner at first over there honest.
Mariners out hitting Chatham 5-1. However, the Anglers with a 1-0 lead. No balls, 2 strikes. From the stretch, the 0-2. Misses low in a little bit outside, 1-2.
Yep, had a pitch to waste there, and we'll see how aggressive Bartnicki gets here, whether he wants to go right at Bobby Seymour or maybe try to get him to chase 1 or 2 more. He's got a couple more to waste.
Look over at first and the delivery. Swing and a miss. It tied him up, and Seymour goes down swinging the second time. He's fanned in this one, and that is out number 1.
Yep, Bobby Seymour, another guy potentially being looked at by Team USA. We'll find all that out. Have more details on that as time goes on, but a couple of names here for this Harwich Mariners roster that could very well be taking off for the U.S. Collegiate National Team.
Now Nico Cavadas, the designated hitter, with 1 on and 1 out. It's a soft ground ball to second. The flip for 1 on to first, and it's another double play. The second grounded into by the Mariners in this one, as it was a great turn, a great flip, and a fantastic return throw over at short by Ramirez, and the side is retired. Through 3.5, Harwich trails Chatham Anglers 1-0. You're listening to Mariners Baseball here on YouTube Live.
home run hitting contest. Another will be an autograph session.
Welcome back to Veterans Field after 3.5.
Leading off for the Anglers,
Chatham with a
the
1-0
first baseman
lead.
from the University of
Lone
Southern
run coming
California,
from a
number
Colin
2,
Hall
Jamal O'Gwen.
RBI single who actually ended last inning being caught stealing by Jackson Greer. So the heart of the lineup due up here for Chatham as Jamal O'Gwen II will bat to lead off the bottom of the first and bottom of the fourth, excuse me. The first pitch is swung on and missed for strike one.
Evan O'Gwen, pretty intimidating stance, standing at 6'4", 220. The big righty, ready to go here with the 0-1.
0-1 is a called strike two.
Yeah, pretty good job there. That pitch with a little bit of late life, dropping off the table, but doing just enough to stay in the zone. And Buddy Hayward's ahead here.
Here's the 0-2. On the inside corner for strike three, and O'Gwen goes down looking the second time he's struck out. Actually, the three hitters for both teams have combined for 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, 1 away.
Yeah, but now you wonder when the walk is going to come here for Buddy Hayward. He struck out one guy and walked one guy in each of his 3 innings so far. So he got the hard part out of the way early. See if he puts somebody on here.
He skips the first pitch into the dirt for a ball 1-0 to Ben Ramirez.
Buddy Hayward, of course, the Harvard product, 3-time Ivy League Rookie of the Week during his freshman campaign.
1-0 misses outside, 2-0. Sun's starting to set over the tree line out in left field. And a big cut by Ramirez as he fouls it off the umpire's foot, 2-1.
Well, you know, when you have a league that's been around for over 100 years, you can kind of think ahead a little bit. In a lot of stadiums we've seen, including White House Field in Harwich, of course, Bourne Stadium, and then, of course, Veterans Field here, all have a tree line covering the outfield.
2-1, misses outside.
But it's a lot easier for the hitters. They don't have to deal with as much as the sun would normally be up for at least another hour or so, but here it might as well be set, standing inside the batter's box.
3-1 is hit in the air out towards left field. Waiting under it is Galland, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Or out number 2, rather.
Colin, you and I were talking a little bit before the game started about the dimensions of this field here at Veterans, and obviously it favors lefties a little bit more than righties. Just 314 down the right field line, but then it extends all the way out to about 340 in left.
And that being said, Tyler, I don't think a single ball is reached in right field. All the balls that were hit are either that have gone into the outfield have been either to left or left center.
The only one was the play where they were able to double up
right
at first. As this one rings inside and almost hits Charlie Welch. He had to duck out of one earlier today. He's actually the one that was doubled up back in the second on the play we just mentioned.
Welch reached there via a 4-pitched walk, and he takes a cut and rips this ball down the left field line. It is foul. Third base umpire in perfect position to make that call. That's Mike Delaney.
Yep, Delaney in a good spot and actually making a call. It's good to see the third base umpire getting involved as opposed to what we saw at Bourne on the home run from Greer.
Both sides very upset with the lack of signal.
I mean, you got to make a signal one way or the other. I mean, that's kind of the entire point of having them out there. But no matter what happened on that, they're back to go here on another game.
The 1-1. Check swing. The appeal, he did not go. So it is 2 balls, 1 strike. Anglers 4th in the league in batting, hitting .237 as a team. And a fastball right there at the knees. So a 2-ball, 2-strike, 2-out count here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yep, deuce is wild here. It's Charlie Welch trying to reach for a second time. This time with nobody on.
Chatham's also walked the most out of any team in the league as the count is now full. Fastball missing low at 79. Maybe it was a changeup then.
Could have been. Or a very slow fastball.
Here's the full count pitch. And it is a line drive sinking quickly and dropping in front of the center fielder Weimer for a base hit. And so Chatham with their second hit of the game, and it comes from their catcher, Charlie Welch.
I was about to say, just the second hit for them so far today. And Again, they may have been out hit, but the only number that matters is the run count, in which they lead at 1-0. Still a lot of baseball to be played.
And it was 2 out hitting that actually resulted in Chatham taking the lead last inning. 2 out RBI single from Colin Hall. Now at the plate, it's Paxton Wallace, the third baseman, and he swings and misses at the first pitch in the dirt.
I mentioned a lot of baseball to be played here. Got a final to pass along to you, or there's no baseball left. Get to it. Gets the victory over the Brewster Whitecaps 8-2. So Brewster's still looking for their first win of the year. They drop now to 0-3.
One of 2 other games going on today. And there's a high fly ball heading out towards right center field. Back at the wall, and it is gone. An impressive showing of opposite field power from Paxton Wallace. And his 2-run shot gives Chatham a 3-0 lead now.
Yep, 357. That's the part of the fence that starts to come in a little bit here at Veterans Field. And, you know, he knew if he had the power to drive it the other way, it was going to be a lot easier to take it off to the right-hand side. A 3-0 lead here for the Chatham A's.
The right fielder from Florida International University, number 18.
Didn't seem like there was much doubt on that one. It seemed like he put a great charge into that one over that 357 marker. And that ball landed right on that grassy bluff out in right center field. First pitch to Aiden Fernandez misses up and in.
Yep, got the lawn seats out there in center field. You can park, take about 4 steps, and then just plop yourself down and enjoy a baseball game.
Next pitch is in there for a strike, 1-1. So that is the first homer allowed all season long from Harwich. Here in game number 3, and that ball hit to the right side, bobbled at first. The flip and a good cover by Hayward, as knocking that ball down was Seymour at first, and that retires the side, but not before Paxton Wallace jump in the yard for the Anglers. He puts on a couple more for the Anglers, and after 4 innings of play, Chatham leads Harwich 3-0. You're listening to Cape Cod League Baseball here on YouTube Live.
On Depot Road, just beyond the center field fence.
Luke Barknicki will head out for his second inning of work for Chatham, and now he has a much more comfortable lead that has been extended to 3, thanks to his teammate over at third base, Paxton Wallace, with a big-time 2-run home run over the right center field fence.
Yep, so 3-0 here, a lead for Chatham. Take a quick look around the league. Katuitt, as I mentioned, got the victory over Brewster by a final of 8-2. Hyannis, after 6, still up on the Commodores of Falmouth 6-4. Orleans up on Wareham 4-2. That game currently in the bottom of the 4th, with Wareham looking to strike once again, runners on 2nd and 3rd. And then, of course, YD and Bourne postponed. That game, new date will be announced soon.
Joey Weimer will lead things off for Harwich. First pitch misses inside. Weimer grounded into a double play back in the 2nd inning.
Yep, and so far just the one infield single for him this season.
A check swing, but looked like it was a called strike, so it'll be 1-1. Weimer from the University of Cincinnati. Pitch outside. Bearcats had quite the season, winning the AAC conference tournament. Here's the 2-1. Fastball just inside, 3-1.
Yep, and obviously riding high off the AAC tournament victory. Took it into the Corvallis Regional where they were knocked off by the Bluebirds of Creighton.
3-1 count, and Weimer fouls it. Looks like it glanced off him while he was in the box. So the count is now full. Here's the 3-2 from Bartnicki. And it misses outside for ball 4. So once again, the Mariners, for the third consecutive inning, have the leadoff man on.
Yep, and in case you're wondering what those guys did, Nico Cavadas was cut down on a double play ball hit by a Weimer back in the second. And then, of course, Jackson Greer picked off trying to swipe second in the third. And Chris Galland was knocked out on a double play ball hit by Nico Cavadas.
So now Mike Ludwig digs in. Lefty against lefty. First pitch is over the plate for a called strike 1.
And Ludwig arguably the hottest hitter on this team. Actually, not even arguably. He's hitting 4 of his last 5 at-bats, all of which have been base hits. Just finding a way to put it where they aren't.
3 for 4 out of the 2-hole on Wednesday, and he takes a pitch up and in for a ball.
A little bit of a shorter lead over there on first for Weimer. He's already seen a couple of his teammates either get cut down on pickoff moves or picked off trying to swipe second.
O'Gwynn holding the bag for Chatham, and there's a swing and a miss by Ludwig for strike 2. Christian Fedko on deck for the Mariners. And the 1-2 pitch. Right down the middle for strike 3, and Ludwig goes down looking for out number 1.
I think he was sitting maybe on a fastball there. That's what he got, though, 87 miles an hour, just lower in the zone than he would have liked. He will head back to the dugout, so that'll bring up Christian Fedko, a strikeout victim himself back in the second inning. Looking to get back on track here.
Fedko from the University of Connecticut. And the first pitch he sees is a check swing, but a called strike 1 by home plate umpire Joe Caruco.
Yep, just 3 official at-bats for Christian Fedko. He's 0 for 3, but he reached on a walk in that game against Bourne. So still looking to record his first hit this season.
That pitch misses upstairs for a ball 1-1. Chatham winning their first 2 games on the road, but losing their home opener. So now they're looking to get their first home victory of the season and stay out in that top spot in the Eastern Division. In the dirt, 2-1.
Well, we talk about how many road games Harwich is going to have to play in a row. Chatham able to get their first home opener in their 3rd game. But, of course, for Harwich, this is not too bad of a road trip, only about 20 minutes down the road from Harwich. Everything on the east is pretty close. I mean, if you haven't looked at a map, it's pretty close, all in relation.
Runner going. The pitch is a called strike, and it is Weimer who swipes second. And finally, the Mariners are able to get to second base without getting picked off.
Yep, and we've seen some aggressive base running out of them in the past. A couple of hit and runs in that game against Bourne. I believe they tried that 4 different times, and looks like the umpire having a word, trying to get things patched up. The field was not really ready to go when we got here. There were a couple of little trenches out along the infield, but credit to the Chatham coaches out there making the field work.
Precipitation certainly doing its damage across Cape Cod early on in the season. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and Weimer on second. Here's the pitch. Slow roller heading towards short. Ramirez trying to make a tough play, and he does make a strong throw across the diamond to O'Gwynn. Weimer moves up to 3rd, but there are now 2 outs.
Yep, and a productive out, though, moving him around for Jackson Greer, who has started things off pretty well. I mentioned the home run in game 2 of the season, and then started things off with a base hit here to lead off the 3rd inning. Another one would cut the deficit down to 2.
So with the first run of the game 90 feet away for the Mariners, it is Jackson Greer at the plate, who was picked off after reaching on a single back in the 3rd rather, from East Tennessee State. 1-0, misses inside, and Bartnicki not afraid to work on that inner half of the plate. He's been doing it ever since he's come into the game at the start of the 4th inning.
Yeah, we've seen him kind of try to brush guys back and set up his better off-speed pitches on the outside part of the plate, working against both lefties and righties. So definitely not afraid to go right at the guy.
And now Greer swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt. Falls behind, or excuse me, still ahead in the count, 2-1.
Yep, just trying to feel out his pitch as he's done in a couple previous at-bats. In addition to the home run, had a base knock and a run scored back in the 2nd inning of Tuesday's game.
2-1, misses low once again. It's a 3-1 count. Umpire clearing it up as in scoreboard correcting it. Originally had it at 2-2, but now 3-1. And swinging and fouling the pitch off is Greer. So the count is now full with 2 away. First and second both open for Bart Nicky if he wants to pitch around Greer, but he does have 2 strikes on him here. Here's the payoff pitch. Off-speed pitch misses just inside and maybe a little high, and Greer works the walk with 2 away.
Well, talk about a guy trying to make his case to stick around. Jackson Greer has now reached on 4 of his 5 at-bats with that walk, and that'll bring up Danny Harris. Grounded into a fielder's choice, but reached his first time up.
Harris was 1 for 4 against Falmouth in the opener. Had that ground rule double down the right field line. First hit of the season for the Mariners. And the first pitch is low and outside.
Yeah, pretty big spot here. Runners at the corners. His team trailing by 3. 2 away. Big time opportunity coming up here. If Harris can find a way to put one in the gap somewhere, maybe move him up to first or to second and third, but just getting that run home is going to be crucial here.
In the dirt for ball 2, Harris started all 56 games he was in for Eastern Kentucky with a .271 batting average. Hit 9 long balls, 44 runs batted in. Also swiped 8 bags. Prone for the strikeouts, though, 42 of them compared to just 14 walks. The 2-0. Chopper to short, Ramirez goes the short way to second, and VR catches it to end the top of the 5th inning. So we're halfway through this one. The Mariners trail Chatham 3-0. You are listening to Harwich Mariners baseball here on the Cape Cod Network.
Cape Cod Baseball League is found.
Buddy Hayward heading out for his 5th inning of work. He's allowed 3 runs on 3 hits to the Anglers. Hasn't gotten much run support, though, from his team as Mariners trail Chatham 3-0.
And interesting to see Coach Englert leave him out there for a 5th inning after pulling Seckler for how well he pitched through 4 innings the other day. So maybe not wanting to get as far into the bullpen as he has in previous games. But either way, out for another inning and facing off against the back part of the order here will be Buddy Hayward.
Perhaps that is a bit of a factor here into why he was getting that 5th inning. 8-9-1 due up is first pitch to VR. It's a one-hopper, and having trouble with it is Harris. And a wide turnover at first by VR. And that is probably going to be scored in E6.
Yeah, and that's a tough play. We saw him make a couple of those really tough ones at Falmouth. As now it will be scored as an error, but that's kind of the one part of Danny Harris's game that needs a little bit of work. 16 errors last season. And another one there. We'll put a runner on board here for Chatham.
First pitch is fouled straight back for Vinny Bologna.
Yep.
Struck out in the bottom of the third. That's his only plate appearance so far. Big right-handed bat. And the 0-1 misses just high, it looks like, 1-1.
Yep, good job by Bologna laying off of that pitch. And right now, it's kind of been the quest for starting pitching. That begins today for the Harwich Mariners, as the two guys that pitched in games 1 and 2 will eventually be moving on to Team USA. And then one of their other top stars, in Brady McConnell, drafted in the second round by the Kansas City Royals. He will not be making the trip to the Cape.
Big swing by Bologna, fouled straight back 1-2.
So Harwich kind of looking for some arms. Buddy Hayward, a guy that they've got a lot of confidence in and a guy that they certainly like. Leaving him out there to see what he can do here with another inning of work.
Right-hander warming up for the Mariners down the right field line. The dugout in play here at Veterans Field. And the 1-2 from Hayward on the corner. Strike 3 called, and Bologna strikes out for the second time in this one away.
Well, there's the strikeout per inning. We made sure to get his quota in there. 5 innings, 5 strikeouts for Buddy Hayward, 1 in each. And now he'll flip the book and head back to the top of the order. It'll be Caden Polkovich coming up from the left-hand side with 1 away and a runner on first.
And to Chatham's credit, I mean, it's been tough. He's had probably more walks than he would have liked with 3. But this is a team that has good patience, leading the entire CCBL in walks. 1-0 count now to the leadoff man, Polkovich. From the stretch, upstairs, 2-0 to Polkovich.
Well, it's that old adage about base runners. You take them any way you can get them. Doesn't always have to be via big hits to the wall. Sometimes you just like a guy who knows when not to swing.
Polkovich mimicking the signature bat wiggle of Ken Griffey Jr. at the plate, and a pickoff move back in time is the runner VR.
Yeah, plenty of room there for VR, but not a bad idea. Just trying to keep him honest is Buddy Hayward. First base has been a killing ground of sorts for runners in this game.
Polkovich out of Oklahoma State. And Hayward's 2-0 is fouled straight back up and out of play. Right onto the pavement in the parking lot out behind the third base side.
Well, Colin, for the first time this season, I believe we are in foul ball territory.
Yeah.
So an opportunity to maybe get one back here to the table. We have set up just down the third base line, right behind home plate here at Veterans Field in Chatham.
The 2-1. Up and in for a ball, and now the count runs to 3-1.
You know, for as much as we talked about Luke Barnicki kind of utilizing the inner half of the plate, we've seen quite a bit of that today out of Buddy Hayward as well. Not afraid to throw that high and tight fastball. Got to be awfully careful with that pitch, though.
Short lead at first, the 3-1, fouled straight back into the netting.
Starting to wonder if I should have brought my glove.
This will be the 70th pitch for Hayward in this one. And it'll come with a full count and 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th. From the stretch, Hayward deals. Runner going. The pitch misses low. It is ball 4. And that is the 4th walk allowed by Hayward in this one.
Well, and you can see Greer, he was anticipating making a throw down to second base, maybe finding a way to pick off VR, but couldn't quite get it into his glove, and it ends up skirting behind him. Ultimately, it doesn't matter a whole lot, though, as the walk would have moved him up anyway.
So in comes the dangerous Colin Hall, who has reached base twice in this one, walking in the first. He also had an RBI single to left in the bottom of the third.
Yep, and that's going to prompt a conversation on the mound as looks like Coach Englert coming out to have a word with his guy, see whether he leaves him in or takes the call to the bullpen. Mentioned an arm warming up out there already. Kind of wondered if he was going to let him go through the order a third time as he left him in there to face Caden Polkovich, and he walked him. Now they get into the more dangerous part of the order with O'Gwyn, Ramirez, Welch, and Hall.
And they are going to make a change after a long discussion. So that's going to be the night for Buddy Hayward, who goes 4 1/3 innings. And with this pitching change, we'll take a quick break with it. Once again, Chatham leads Harwich 3-0. You are listening to Mariners Baseball here on YouTube Live.
It's time for Prime. Prime Chevrolet. Curry College offers 14 NCAA
It'll be
Division
Connor
III
Yoder from
athletics
Virginia
teams in
Tech
sports
taking
such as
over
football,
for the
baseball,
Harwich
softball,
Mariners with
hockey,
1 away
soccer,
and
lacrosse,
2 on
tennis,
in the bottom of the
cross-country,
5th inning.
volleyball, and
Chatham leads
basketball.
3-0 over
Read about
Harwich.
the success of the Curry
And then
Colonels and
Yoder
their
comes
championship
in
teams.
to
It's all online at
2 runners on, both coming from Buddy Hayward.
www.curry.edu.
He's right now on the hook for 3 runs, all of them earned. 3 hits, 4 walks, while striking out 5. But for Yoder, he's had some experience with summer ball here in New England with the NECBL Sanford Mainers last summer. And in 2019 with the Virginia Tech Hokies, 27 appearances, 25 innings pitched, ERA 5.76, struck out 30 while walking 22.
Yep, Connor Yoder, one of the smoothest deliveries you'll see out of a guy that sits in there at 6'7". He is one of the tallest guys on the team. Him and Joe Boyle both clocking in at 6'7". And again, just the delivery is so smooth. Take a look at his repertoire. He's got a fastball that clocks in between 89 to 91, throws a curveball and a circle change as well. And he's going to need to use every single piece in that arsenal to find his way out of this inning. Chatham looking dangerous right now with a chance to score a few more runs and pad this lead a little bit. They're up 3-0.
So Colin Hall batting, center fielder. 1 for 1 with a walk and an RBI single. He's got a couple of ducks on the pond here. Long look in. And bluffing the pick off to second is Yoder.
Kind of looked like that time Yoder might have just forgot to check the runner, wanted to see what kind of a lead he had there, and knew he had a little bit of time to waste. So still waiting on his first pitch here.
And the first pitch to Hall is a chopper to second, possibly a double play ball. Harris, the return throw, just not in time. It's a good flip by Fedko. And a good turn by Harris, but a little too much speed there from Hall. And so now will be runners at the corners with 2 down in the inning, and Jamal O'Gwyn at the plate.
Well, that's the exact thing you wanted to get there if you're coming into the game as he was. Just step in, very first pitch on the ground, double play ball, unable to turn it, but now with 2 away, things looking a lot less dangerous.
Score that one a fielder's choice, 4-6 on that pitch. And now O'Gwyn, who has struck out twice in this one, looking to pad his team's lead. The first pitch is in the dirt. Pretty aggressive step towards home from the runner over at third VR, but instead he's looked back by the catcher Greer.
So Connor Yoder trying to help his cause here. The runner on first, of course, will be tagged to him.
The 1-0. Misses upstairs 2-0. And something funny that we talked about earlier before the broadcast was Danny Harris with the nickname 4 being the fourth and wearing number 4. Jamal O'Gwyn is the second, and he's wearing number 2.
Just the way they drew it up.
Upstairs for a ball. The count is now 3-0 with the cleanup hitter Ben Ramirez on deck.
Yep, we all know Coach Englert loves his nicknames. The lineup card full of them every day, including Nico Cavadas as Shotgun, Mike Ludwig as Ludacris. A couple good ones mixed in there. This pitch will miss high in the zone, and that will load him up. Connor Yoder puts the Ducks all on the pond, and that'll bring up Ben Ramirez to try to bring a couple of these home with 2 away.
Ramirez, a big bat out of USC, looking to do some damage and break this game open with one swing of the bat. Lefty warming up in the pen for the Mariners, but for the time being, Yoder will remain in the game and will face the lefty. Shortstop Ramirez flew out in the first to end the inning, then flew out to center to end the inning in the first, flew out to left in the fourth. First pitch is in the dirt, goes all the way to the backstop, and a run will score. That run being charged to Hayward, and that officially closes the book on Buddy Hayward, and now Chatham with a 4-0 lead.
Yep, just a wild pitch, and that one down in the dirt, unable to get down there and block it was Greer. And there's a brick backstop, but the section right behind home plate does have padding on it, so no big bounce back to the catcher.
It's actually an unearned run for Hayward as it reached via an error. VR, the one coming around to score. The 1-0's right at the knees for a called strike. So that's officially 4 runs allowed, 3 of them earned for Hayward. 4 walks to go along with 5 Ks. 2 in scoring position here for Ramirez, and he hits a ground ball to the left side, and the throw across the diamond is in time. That was the second baseman, Fedko, making the play, and the side is retired. However, Chatham picks up another run. They lead 4-0 after 5 innings here from Veterans Field. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on YouTube Live. Third inning of work for Luke Bartnicki. He will be greeted by the top of the Mariners lineup as they look to break through on the scoreboard. They're out hitting Chatham 5-3, but they are trailing 4-0 in the scoring department.
Speaking of the scoreboard, quick update on another game going on right now in Cape Cod League action. Got a good one between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Falmouth Commodores. Hyannis currently up 9-6, but bases are juiced for Falmouth in the bottom of the 7th. Big time opportunity here with Adam Langworthy at the dish.
Some great action up and down the Cape. YD and Bourne, of course, postponed due to unplayable field conditions down in Bourne.
The third baseman, number 3, Cam Thompson.
And the Orleans Firebirds with a 4-3 lead over the Gatemen in Wareham. That one in the top of the 6th. So the leadoff man is Cam Thompson, as this is the third time through the order for the Mariners. He swings and misses the first pitch for strike 1.
Yep, checked the swing that time, but went around on it, and Thompson trying to work his way back on base, reached on a base knock back in the 3rd.
However, he was picked off to end that 3rd inning, and a big scoring threat for the Mariners in what was then a scoreless game, as it's a 1-1 count now. And from the windup, here's the pitch in the dirt, 2-1.
Yeah, for RJ Davovich, didn't even really have to pitch out of the trouble he got himself into. Let the defense kind of take care of it and picked 2 guys off at first. Let his catcher get a couple of assists from behind the dish. And nobody came across to score for the Mariners.
Stepping off and now reconvening is Bartnicki. And the 2-1's in there for a called strike 2. Thompson started in game number 1, batted leadoff in that one, and had the day off on Wednesday, and he strikes out looking on a fastball, a good one, on the outside corner for out number 1.
Yeah, tough pitch and an easy one to want to lay off of, but just kind of hangs up there, no movement to it, and 1 away here in the 6th.
So now it's BC Eagle Chris Galland, who's 2 for 2 today. Reached on a single in the 1st, but was actually thrown out trying for 2. Then another single in the 4th. 1-0 the count. Lights officially on, darkness setting in here at Veterans Field. Outside fastball, and Galland is ahead 2-0.
Yep, and so far it's been low-scoring games for Harwich. The one that they won by a final of 3-1, and then just 1 run scored in the 7-1 loss to Falmouth in the openers. This one will miss low in the dirt, and it's a 3-0 count here.
Hitters count. Galland's been working the count. He's actually seen a full count in each of his first 2 at-bats, so good patience from the left fielder, and he takes that pitch for a 4-pitch walk with 1 away, and that will bring up the heart of the order, and Bobby Seymour, who's looking to get off the schneid here, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts.
Another opportunity for Harwich, though. That's the 8th base runner they've had today. Still looking for their first run, and Seymour would be a pretty good guy to do it, although so far today, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. So looking to break out of that here in the 6th inning with a runner on base.
Lefty against lefty. First pitch on the inside corner for strike 1, Seymour.
Yep, not a bad spot. And again, keeping things on the inner half here is Hurler on the mound and Luke Bartnicki.
Harwich 8th in the league coming into this game, hitting 177 as a team. However, I think that's a little bit misleading given the way that first game went. It was a struggling game for the Mariners in game 1, but game 2 they started to really get the bats going. The 0-1 misses outside 1-1.
Well, you're also looking at a smaller sample size. Obviously, there were some teams that were able to play in a 3rd game, so a lot of those hitting metrics not going to be even. And averages technically equal, but you can't really tell with 2 games.
1-1 hit hard on the ground, foul just past the third base bag. And Seymour falls behind 1-2.
Since Chris Galland got on base via the hit back in the 4th inning, the last 3 Harwich Mariners to get on have been put there via walks from Bartnicki.
Yeah, 3 walks for Bartnicki, but just 1 hit allowed and 2 in the 3rd innings.
He decides to test his luck thrown over to first, something that Chatham Angler pitchers have had pretty good luck with today.
Both pickoffs made by Davovich, the right-hander. And the 1-2. Fouled straight back. Do it again.
It's a pretty generous lead out there, though, by Chris Galland. I mean, he's not very fazed by the lefty's presence. Question is whether or not they'll have him actually take off and test the arm of Charlie Welch, who's already thrown 1 out today.
despite the 4-0 lead, Bartnicki has had to work. I mean, in his third inning, through 2 1/3, this is his 49th pitch coming. Here it is. And once again, it is fouled straight to the backstop.
Lengthy at bats. That's something they've done a much better job of since that first game against Falmouth. We talked about it against Bourne, and here again, long at bats, really making the pitcher work for it, finding a pitch that they can hit and driving it. It's kind of become the new identity here for the Mariners through the last 2 games.
The 1-2. In there on the outside corner for strike 3, and for the second time, a Mariner strikes out looking here in the top of the 6th, 2 down.
Well, all 3 of the 3 of the 4 strikeouts in this game for Bartnicki have come looking. So he's done a pretty good job lacing his pitches right where he wants them, and it's had Harwich completely off balance.
That's a hat trick for Seymour, as it's the second time he's been gotten by Bartnicki in this one. And with 2 down, the first pitch is hammered foul down the left field line. That one disappeared over the trees. That coming off the back bat of Nico Cavadas.
Well, that's the first one I think we've really seen Cavadas get a hold of, and that's the kind of power he boasts. We've looked at it with his numbers. He's definitely got the capability. Just needs to straighten it out a little bit. And this is a field that would definitely favor him. We talked about it, 314 down the right field line to that foul ball out there.
Runner going, and that pitch is low, and with a slides easily with no throw into second base is Chris Galland.
So, staying aggressive here are the Mariners. Not phased again by the arm of Charlie Welch there, not even a throw. It was a really, really good jump there for Chris Galland.
Galland's got decent speed, so a base hit could score him. And that pitch misses low.
I mean, right now you just got to find a way to scratch one across. A lot of ducks left on the pond for the Mariners in this game.
Open base at first with 2 down. The 2-1. This is on the inside corner for a ball, 3-1 with Weimer on deck. He is 0 for 1 with a double play. Cavadas with the other double play in this one for the Mariners. So tough for the middle of the order. And there's a strike, 3-1, or 3-2 now the count.
Well, Cavadas is a patient hitter. We've known that coming into the season. Talked about his numbers and how greatly they've improved in the walk column. 18 during his freshman season, 43 last year.
Payoff pitch, misses low for a ball, and that is now the 4th walk issued in this game by Bartnicki.
Well, they had a base open, so that's not necessarily a bad situation to put themselves in for Chatham, but runners on first and second now, and Joey Weimer with another opportunity.
Like I said before, Weimer with grounding into a double play in the 2nd and walked. Also at a stolen base in the 5th. Ended up all the way at 3rd, but Mariners unable to push that run home, as it was Danny Harris who grounded out to short to end that inning.
Yep, and now Coach will come out and have a word with Bartnicki, wanting to talk things over, see whether they keep him in or make a change. But given the 3-3-3 setup, he only needs to get one more out before his outing would be complete anyway.
Once again, it's Weimer. The right-hander out of Cincinnati. Bat high above his shoulders, in the first pitch, it's right down the middle for strike 1.
You know, for as good as we've talked about the offense of Chatham this season, the pitching's been pretty good as well. They're second in the league right now in team ERA with just a 2.0.
Weimer had an RBI single in the game against Bourne. Looking to add to that total here. Outside 2-1. 1-1, I should say. Four 0 your score here from Veterans Field. Chatham with the lead. 2-1 now.
More patient hitting here out of Joey Weimer. Wants to make sure if he gets a pitch to drive, it's the one he wants. Everybody playing pretty standard right now in the outfield. Plenty of room in left and right center field.
Fastball inside, and this could be back-to-back walks. 3 and 4 hitters. Weimer's able to lay off one more, 3-1.
And the guy you really don't want to face right now is on deck in Michael Ludwig.
Bartnicki's 3-1. chopper towards third. Long throw by Wallace in the dirt, and a great scoop gets Weimer on a close play. A great pick by O'Gwyn, and once again, Bartnicki able to escape trouble, and so the side is retired. We've played 5.5 here from Veterans Field. Chatham 4, Harwich nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball here on YouTube Live. To the home half of the sixth we go. Connor Yoder, who finished up the bottom of the fifth for the Mariners, will head back out for the M's. And it's just been a really frustrating contest, Tyler, when you think about it. Through 5 innings, or 6 now, and the Mariners have stranded 5 men on base. Definitely not what you want to see.
Yeah, it's been a bit tough, and at the end of the day, you make sure you get it done when you can, and they just need to do a better job of taking advantage of the opportunities they've been gifted. The biggest number that you're going to look at the end of this game, if the score holds the way it is right now, is runners left on base. They have had a ton of opportunities. Just got to find a way to move those guys around and get them in.
So it'll be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Chatham. Pepperdine's Charlie Welch digs in. He's reached base twice in this one. Walked in the second on 4 pitches. Also singled and came around to score in the fourth, coming on Paxton Wallace's 2-run home run. He sits in the on-deck circle. Connor Yoder from the windup, and his first pitch of the inning is fouled right over the Mariners' first base dugout.
Yep, things really starting to cool down here in Chatham. 64 degrees as the sun begins to set. It's already been down for field purposes, but now starting to set in general as well.
The 0-1 is in there for a called strike 2.
Well, again, Welch, one of those guys that has been having himself a pretty good day. We talked about it, 1 for 1 with a base hit. Came around to score the run with 2 outs back in the fourth, and then walking to start things off in the second.
The 0-2, and Welch strikes out looking. A little bit of a check swing, but that pitch was right there, and Yoder fans him to begin the home half of the second.
Well, again, Connor Yoder, we talked about it a little bit, his smooth delivery out of the stretch. From the windup, it looks even better. Just a very slow, calm delivery and a lot of downhill movement. At 6'7", you can really utilize gravity to your advantage. He's coming down the bump and delivering in with some pretty good velocity with his pitches.
So here's Wallace, who takes the first pitch upstairs. He lined into a double play on a really hard hit ball to right, and then the next time up, he just hit it right over the right fielder's head for a 2-run homer. From the windup, Yoder delivers the 1-0. Still missing upstairs, 2-0.
Yeah, and you got to be careful. If you're going to miss to a guy like Paxton Wallace, you don't want it to be up in the zone. That's the pitch that'll get dropped over the memorial banners in the outfield.
Yoder, long windup, and the 2-0. Huge cut there from Wallace, but he comes up empty.
Yep, just kind of challenged him there, brought that one home. Only 84 on the velocity, but still way out in front of it was Paxton Wallace.
2 balls, 1 strike here in the home half of the sixth with 1 away. And the fastball misses away, and the count is now 3-1. Tyler, it looks like he's pitching really carefully here to Wallace, and I don't really blame him.
Yeah, absolutely. We've already seen what Wallace can do. A part of the reason why Chatham is leading this game by 4 runs instead of just a pair. So definitely got to be cautious when pitching to a guy with this much pop in the bat.
And that one misses upstairs, where 3 of the 4 balls missed, all of them high. And Wallace coaxes a 1-out walk.
You know, I say you got to be careful if you're going to miss and miss low, but I'm not 100% sure he was missing his spot. Sometimes when you have a guy like Paxton Wallace, you want to try to bait him with that high fastball. Problem is Wallace was patient, didn't swing at a single one, and he's standing on first base now. Looks like they'll bring a courtesy runner in to run for him. As coming in to run, it will be Tyler Doenis. Actually, Tyler Dones, sorry.
So it'll be Dones out of West Virginia. Speedy second baseman out there. We'll see if he will stay in the game next inning as defensive replacement as well. But he's got a decent lead off first. Big secondary, and the first pitch misses up and in to Aiden Fernandez.
Yep, Fernandez 0 for 2 today, a strikeout, and then a ground out to first back in the fourth to end the inning, both of those actually.
Fernandez out of FIU, like Logan Allen, the starting pitcher for the Mariners, in getting the no decision loss against Falmouth. Swing and a miss, so it's 1-1. Lefty warming in the pen for the Mariners. And Yoder with a runner moving, misses high. Throw down the tag, and he got him. It was a really close play, but another phenomenal throw by Jackson Greer. And it is the pinch runner, Dones, who is out.
You think Jackson Greer wants to be here? You get a really strong feeling Jackson Greer wants to be here. He knows that there are a couple of catchers coming in this weekend in Pat Winkle and Mike Rothenberg, and this kid's making a pretty strong case for himself to stay on the roster. That's the third guy, sorry. He's gunned down in just a couple of games. He had the home run as well. He's getting it done all over the place.
Pitch is fouled off. And the count will be 1-2. Fernandez 6'2", 215 from Miramar, Florida. The 1-2. That's high. And the deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Yep, just trying to find a way to put Fernandez down and bring the bats up here as we'll be heading into the final third of this one. Time starting to run short here on the Mariners game.
The pitch by Yoder is hit to third. Throw in time, and the side is retired. So after the leadoff walk, or the 1-out walk to Wallace, a big throw from Greer, and then a ground out 5-3 ends the inning. So after 6 full, it is Chatham 4, Harwich 0. You're listening to Mariners Baseball here on YouTube Live.
If the grand prize is not collected in
Pitching change here for Chatham. Before we announce that, this game is being brought to you in part by Milton Cat for sales and rentals, Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines. Visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Dane Acker taking the hill out there for the Chatham Anglers. He will try to close this one out as they hope he can go through the final 3 innings, do that 3-3-3 setup that Coach Tom Holliday has for his guys. Take a look at what he's done. The product out of San Jacinto College from Brenham, Texas. Had a pretty solid, from San Jacinto. Goes to Rice, and a 2.36 ERA, 76 innings, 97 strikeouts. This is one of the flamethrowers for this team. He will face off against Michael Ludwig, so strong player on strong player right now. Ludwig, as we mentioned, has hit in 5 of his last 6 at-bats. The lone exception being the strikeout in the 5th inning of this game. He's trying to give Harwich a little advantage here. Mariners trail it by 4, 4-0 our score. Chatham A's up on the Harwich Mariners, hosting here at Veterans Field.
It was a solid outing out of the pen for Bart Nicky.
So the first pitch coming here from Acker, and right off the bat, it'll be a fastball in there for strike 1.
He went 3 full innings, just 1 hit allowed. He did walk 4, but also struck out 4. Most importantly, has kept it at a 4-0 game for his team.
Acker comes set. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That'll miss away, and the count even at 1-1.
Yep. Bart Nicky is in line for the win, too, should Chatham hold their 4-run lead.
Yep, 4 runs they racked up while he was in. Big swing taken there by Ludwig. He cuts right through that one, falling behind here 1-2. That fastball clocking in at 87 miles an hour. Nice scoreboard we have here at Chatham, including the pitch speed, something we haven't seen anywhere else so far on our tour of all the road ball games. This one taken by Ludwig to second, picked up by Villar. Throw to first is in time for 1 away.
Yeah, so far it's been a pretty frustrating day at the plate for the Harwich Mariners. They have gotten 5 hits, but none of their contact has seemed to be all that hard. I mean, it seems like everything's staying either in the infield or just weak bloopers getting into the outfield. So the bat just not finding the ball the way they'd like it so far in this game.
Well, and we talked about all the infield singles that they had against Bourne on Wednesday, and now a bunch of little bloop singles, wondering when the big hits are going to come. Christian Fedko stands in from the right-hand side. He'll watch the first pitch, a fastball in there at 94. In there for a strike.
With all those batted balls in the infield, it almost feels like you're swinging a wiffle ball bat with an actual baseball. Just not a lot of power so far, but still early in the season.
0-1. This one taken sharply into right center. That'll drop right in front of the right fielder, Fernandez, who picks it up. So once again, the Mariners have a runner on base with 1 away.
Something tells me Christian Fedko might have heard what I was saying there, and he completely changed the narrative, ripping one right through the right side of the infield. And so now the Mariners have Chatham doubled up in the hit department, but still trailing by 4.
So that'll bring up Jackson Greer, who's making a pretty good case for himself here through the first couple of games. Already a home run, a couple of base hits, including one today as he swings through that one, a slider down low for strike 1.
Yeah, I mean, so far he's been a 5-tool player. He's been playing the field great as well, drawing walks, getting some base hits, and, of course, setting the ball over the fence, owning the only home run of the season so far.
Yep, he's also got 3 guys that he's caught stealing and an excellent diving catch to boot back in the game against Bourne. As here he swings through yet another low slider coming in at 84, and he's fallen behind 0-2. The one time Jackson Greer was retired was via the strikeout in the 5th inning of Wednesday's night game against Bourne. As checking the runner over there is Acker. Pretty standard lead for Christian Fedko. 1 away. Chatham leads it. Here's the pitch from Acker. Check swing. And they're going to say he didn't go around there, so the count now 1-2 on the curveball.
So we've talked about it before. The Mariners continue this road stretch tomorrow. They will be in Cotuit for that game.
Yep, always a tough opponent, especially at home. Here's a 1-2 pitch from Acker. And just kind of fouling that one off. Yeah, fouling it off there is Jackson Greer. Kind of a half-hearted check swing that found its way to the baseball. So the count stays 1-2 here.
So yeah, it'll be tomorrow at Cotuit, 5 o'clock start time. And then at long last, the Mariners scheduled with a doubleheader on Father's Day at home. That one against Falmouth Commodores.
Yep, and assuming the weather holds up, they'll follow it up
Fingers crossed.
Against Bourne at home, a game that was originally scheduled for Tuesday, then was rescheduled for yesterday, and has now been rescheduled a 3rd time for Monday. Here's the pitch from Acker, the 1-2, swing and a miss. At a little extra off that one, coming in under 80, and that'll be strikeout number 2 of the season for Jackson Greer, 2 away.
Yeah, it's clear that Acker's working down in the zone here. He didn't really give anything in the upper quadrant of the zone to Greer. He did have the couple of fastballs in to set him up, and then he just dropped the sinker, or either the sinker or the splitter there right off the table. Yeah, the splitter. He's got a low 80s splitter that he really likes going to, and all 3 strikes were on that splitter.
Here's a weak pop, well, not even a pop fly, just a little flare right at O'Gwyn, and he puts it away for out number 3. So once again, the Mariners get a runner on base with 1 away, but can't find a way to bring him around. We head now to the home half of the 7th inning stretch time here at Veterans Field. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. It is 7th inning stretch time here at Veterans Field. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey, and the homestanding Anglers still leading it 4-0 as we head to the home half of the 7th. It's been a tough go so far for the Mariners with the bats. Again, they have the Anglers double up and hit 6-3, but have not been able to make anything out of it. And now they will try to defend the lack of lead they have right now with Devin Dunn, who will get his first look out there on the bump today.
Yeah, they're going with the lefty here to face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Chatham. A couple of righties with VR and Bologna, so righty, righty, lefty is what Dunn will be greeted with. Pardon me, actually, lefty, righty, lefty. As VR digs in, and he is 0 for 1, but he has scored twice. Reached base via a walk and an error. Coming around to score in both instances.
So Devin Dunn pitching out of the stretch here. First pitch is fouled away as he starts him off with a fastball around 87 miles an hour. You want to talk about a guy who's really a Swiss Army knife. Check out the pitching arsenal for Devin Dunn. Fastball, curveball, changer, slider, splitter. He can throw a little bit of everything, and that can keep hitters guessing, especially if you're not 100% sure what's coming. So he will pull into the bag of tricks. It's a changeup, and it's going to be softly hit over the head of a reaching Harris and drop in there for a base hit.
Yeah, this is just one of those games for VR where his on-base percentage is going to get a huge boost, and not even because of hitting here. That was his first hit of the game. He had that walk back in the 3rd, and then, of course, reaching on an error as well. And he scored both times there. Both times he's reached base and see if he can make it 3 for 3 in that department with Bologna at the plate and nobody out.
So Vincenzo Bologna coming up to the dish now. 0 for 2 today with a pair of strikeouts, trying to avoid the hat trick here with a runner on first and nobody out. First pitch he sees takes a big cut at a high slider. And the count now 0-1. Devin Dunn, the product out of ECU, spent last summer in the Valley League with the Strasburg Express. Now working in the Cape Cod League in his first action out here in Massachusetts. This one fouled back to the screen, and he's ahead here of Bologna 0-1, or 0-2, sorry. Dunn last season, a 6.23 ERA, just 14 strikeouts to 12 walks, so still kind of developing things. This one will be ripped hard at Danny Harris. A chance to turn 2. They get 1, throw it to first, and it's going to be just in time. Late call over there by the umpire, Frank Adatore,
Now batting for
but they're
Chatham,
able to
left
turn
fielder,
two
number
here. The
40,
first time that the
Caden Polkovich.
A's have had the double play turned on him here.
Much better there from Harris after that error that ate him up. The last time that when VR hit that ball to lead off the 5th inning, he got his body in front of it, which is exactly what you're taught to do, and still had plenty of time to get the ball to second and the return throw to first. Just a great job starting that double play by Harris.
That'll bring up Caden Polkovich, who swings through a high curveball. So good job here by Devin Dunn getting ahead of the hitter, and to his credit, after getting the first guy on base, able to get the double play ball. It's about as good as you can hope for as a pitcher. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and fouled back to the screen, so on back-to-back hitters here. He's got a man 0-2, and now I'm worried about my car. That one hit back by where I parked.
A lot of credit, though, Tyler, to this Mariners bullpen so far today. They've pitched now an two and a third innings so far. No runs allowed, just the one inherited runner coming to score when Yoder first entered the game.
High and away there. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, since that first game, the bullpen a little bit shaky in that one, but ever since then, I mean, the bullpen has looked pretty much locked down for the Harwich Mariners. So trying to continue that trend here is Devin Dunn, who's got a 1-2 count on Bologna. Here's the pitch, and that'll miss high and away once again. Count even now at 2-2.
Looks like Polkovich is actually a switch hitter. He's taken some at-bats from the left side earlier in this game. Now with the lefty, and he's on the right side.
Here's one that'll miss low and in, and the count now worked full.
Quite the game out in Falmouth.
Well, not just in Falmouth. Falmouth tied it up 9-9 with the Harbor Hawks, and another one that is even up right now. Orleans and Wareham are tied at 4 apiece. 3-2 pitch, fouled away. We'll do it again. So a couple games that could potentially go into extras. The one in Falmouth currently tied in the 9th. The Orleans game tied in the bottom of the 7th. As Wareham tied that one up at home.
I'm sure both of these teams hoping that Wareham comes out on top.
Payoff pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Devin Dunn able to retire the side after allowing the first guy on base. We head to the 8th, Chatham, still with a 4-0 lead. When we come back, you're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on YouTube TV. We head to the 8th inning, and for Harwich, it'll be the top of the order trying to get something done here. Cam Thompson, Chris Galland, and Bobby Seymour coming up to the plate, and they will have to face off against for the first time. And for a second inning here, Dane Acker, who took over back in the 7th inning. And Colin, as you mentioned, should he go the final 3 innings, he's in the line to get the save. So big opportunity for him to try to start adding on to his bullpen numbers here in the Cape Cod League's 2019 season.
Yeah, it's more like the early 2010s playoff Madison Bumgarner type save where he's just a starting pitcher going a ton of innings. Looked good in the first. See if he can get 6 more outs for his team.
He'll come back out of the windup here, and again, the first guy he'll face will be Cam Thompson, standing in from the left-hand side. Thompson today 1 for 3, a base hit, a strikeout, and a flyout. First pitch he sees is a fastball that'll miss outside. Actually, yeah, fastball. And he is going to have to recover here. 1-0 the count.
Long pause.
Yep, still trying to wait. Coming back out of the windup. Here's the 1-0. Swinging a ball tipped foul. Just got a piece of that one. And the count now even at 1-1. So Thompson stands back in. Here's the 1-1 pitch on its way for Macker. And that'll be in there for strike 2. Breaking ball around the knees. Pretty good job of mixing pitches right now.
Gun reads 81, but it looks like it's coming in a lot more than that.
I was going to say, his off speed definitely drops a little bit off, but maybe not that much. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Broken bat, that one taken up the middle. Coming in to make the play as Ramirez throw to first is in time for out number 1. A lot of broken bats and little flare hits today for the Mariners, and I'm not sure if it's just the way they're getting the bat on the ball or the bats that they're using, but either way, it's been a strange day in the batter's box for these Mariners hitters.
And you know what, talking about the anglers, I think that left side of the infield might be one of the best in the entire league. They have looked very strong tonight making those plays. That is, of course, Paxton Wallace at third base and Ben Ramirez at short. They know how to get it done at the plate, but also in the field.
Big swing and a miss there by Chris Gallen on the ball outside. Gallen today is 0 for 1 for 2. Could have been 2 for 2, but got caught trying to swipe second back in the first. Also had a walk back in the 6th. He's got an 0-1. Acker-size delivers. This one will be hit high in the air. Chasing it back is Villar from shortstop. He'll settle under it and make the catch, from second base for out number 2.
Looks like the 3-3-3 strategy really working for Tom Holliday. I mean, he's gotten some great innings out of 3 starting pitchers per se. And it's great to have that type of stamina where you can afford to send out 3 guys that are used to going longer than they actually have been tonight.
Well, and technically, I mean, that's a strategy he employs at the beginning of the year to see what he's got. But, you know, if it works this well, I don't know why you don't just stick with it for the rest of the season. First pitch here to Bobby Seymour. He'll watch that one just miss high and away for ball 1. Seymour trying to break out of a little bit of a slump in game at least. He is 0 for 3 with a triplet of strikeouts. Digging in from the left-hand side, facing off against the righty and Acker. Big swing and a ball tipped, just a piece of it there. The count even now at 1-1.
Chatham with 5 Cape League titles, but their last coming back in 1998, so it's been over 20 years since they've raised that trophy. Harwich, of course, with 4, their most recent coming in 2011.
Yep, it was an awfully good year, one that Coach Steve Englert was able to lead his guys to, as this pitch will miss low and away to Bobby Seymour. Englert's been around the block. 2 championships here with the Harwich Mariners.
As far as the other dugout, Tom Holliday in his 2nd season, but he's been coaching in the collegiate level for 40 years.
2-1, that'll miss outside. Yeah, definitely a good start to his career here in the Cape Cod Baseball League as he led Chatham to a championship series against Wareham, one that they fell in last season. The Gatemen taking their first title in quite some time.
Holliday spent 97 to 03 as the Oklahoma State head coach.
3-1, Seymour hits it to short, picked up. They'll throw to first, and that is going to be in time. Ramirez to O'Gwin. 3 up, 3 down once again for the Mariners. Just 3 outs left to go. They can't get something going, but first an opportunity for the Anglers to put a few more runs on if they can get them around here in the 9th inning. We go to the 9th. Chatham still leads it 4-0. You're listening to Harwich Baseball on YouTube TV. 2-3-4 coming up here for the Chatham Anglers. It'll be Colin Hall, Jamal O'Gwin, and Ben Ramirez staying out there to pitch for the Mariners will be Devin Dunn here in his second inning of work. And Colin, again, the bullpen has looked pretty good. The whole pitching staff has looked pretty good. It's not like Harwich has given up a ton of runs, but with the exception of that second game, and even then they only scored 3 runs, the bats still need to come alive a little bit more than what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, you need to obviously score runs to win these games, especially in a game where they had their opportunities when this game was scoreless. I mean, in the third inning, those 2 pickoffs really killed them, and it kind of gave Chatham a lot of hope offensively. You had the RBI single from Hall in the bottom of the third inning. Then an inning later, it was Paxton Wallace sending one over the fence, and for now, putting this game out of reach for the Mariners.
So, stepping up to the dish now is Colin Hall. We've talked about how dangerous he has been.
It's actually going to be a pinch hitter, it looks like. And it's going to be Drenis Ozuna.
So Ozuna getting his first hacks here, and he'll do it against Devin Dunn, batting from the right-hand side. First pitch will miss high and away for ball 1. Drenis Ozuna, an outfielder from Orlando, Florida, plays at Oklahoma Wesleyan as Jackson Greer comes out to have a word with Dunn.
Pretty surprised they went with the pinch hitter here with Hall reaching base 3 times in this one.
He's definitely been productive, but clearly something that Coach Holliday sees that he wants to take advantage of here with Devin Dunn out there on the hill. Although it is here lefty against righty. Dunn comes set, the 1-0 pitch. That one fouled back to the screen. The count even at 1-1. Ozuna at Oklahoma Wesleyan hit .437 last year, 22 home runs.
Wow.
And an ungodly 78 RBIs. Here he will rip one hard, but right at second. Fedko picks it up, throws to first, 1 away.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you find a lot of these small school guys have a ridiculous amount of power, and that's what you see a lot of, especially in the NECBL. That's how a lot of guys end up getting recognized. Perhaps some guys also becoming JUCO transfers as well.
So that'll bring up Jamal O'Gwyn, who has had less of a good day today. He is 0 for 2, reached on a walk in the 5th, a couple of strikeouts for him as well. First pitch from Dunn will miss outside, looked like a slider there, and a count of 1-0.
I think a lot of that also has to do with the way the game has changed. You look at the major league level with the increase in home runs and the increase in strikeouts as well.
Dunn set, the 1-0 pitch, and that'll miss low and inside. Yeah, the MLB definitely changing from the shape that it had back in the 2014-15 era just a few years ago, where obviously the Kansas City Royals able to win with small ball, a lot of pinch hitters, a lot of speed, not a lot of home runs. In fact, the 2014 World Series between the Royals and Giants had, I believe, just 3 home runs in the entire series. As Dunn zips this one in there for strike 1.
Yeah, and you haven't with the change, with the more power and the less contact, doesn't seem likely we're going to see another 400 hitter anytime soon now.
Probably not. Dunn's 2-1 is fouled back to the screen, and the count even at 2-2.
Back in the 90s and 2000s, there were a couple of guys who had some phenomenal seasons getting close. Larry Walker being one of them with the Colorado Rockies. And then Massachusetts' own Nomar Garciaparra, of course, being a Boston Red Sox. I think he hit .377 one year.
2-2 to O'Gwyn. Misses low in the zone. Yeah, definitely a local fan favorite. Plenty of those around here. You could say they've had moderate success as a franchise.
And, of course, the last player to do it was Ted Williams, way back in the 1940s.
Payoff pitch. That one taken over the head of a jumping Thompson and in play. So turning to take 2 is Jamal O'Gwyn. He'll have a stand-up double. And with 1 away, the Chatham A's have an opportunity to push their advantage even further, up 4-0 here in the home half of the 8th.
It's a good piece of hitting, just kind of yanked that ball right down the left field line. And with that 1-out double, it's the heart of the line, or the middle of the lineup now. Ben Ramirez, who's been great defensively, but offensively 0 for 3 tonight.
So Ramirez stepping in from the left-hand side. Runner in scoring position, 1 away. Devin Dunn trying to pitch out of a little bit of trouble here. Dunn sets, checks the runner at second, kicks, fires. First pitch took a lot off of that one. Hit him with a changeup there, and it's into the zone. The count 0-1 here.
Yeah, we're going to see another pinch hitter as Keaton Rice in the on-deck circle now for the Anglers.
Yep, Rice will be the second pinch hitter of the day. Have a pinch runner as well. Dunn will step off the rubber, check the runner back to second as Jamal O'Gwyn not taking too big of a lead out there. So Ramirez ready to go here. 0-1 count, shortening up on the bat a little bit. Here's the pitch. That one will be taken back to third. Once again, it'll be picked up by Thompson, who goes across the diamond, and that'll put him away for out number 2. Runner stays right where he's at second base.
You know, there's the one error committed by Harris in the game, but outside of that, defensively, very good play from both teams in this one.
Absolutely, the defense has looked good. The putouts on the base paths have looked even better. Both teams have been very aggressive for the most part, at least in the early part of this game.
Also, not to be overlooked on that play was Thompson being able to look the runner back to second and then firing to first to get the out.
So, pinch hitter into the game, Colin, and as you alluded to earlier, coming in for Welch, it'll be Keaton Rice.
Here comes the wind.
Yeah, right. Rice stands in. It'll be a 1-0 count here. First pitch missed low and away. Dunn sets, checks the runner back to second, kicks and deals. Big swing and a miss. Keaton Rice way out ahead of that one.
And it's going to be Jorge Arenas in the on-deck circle now to replace, it was the pinch runner before.
Yep, Tyler Dones. So a 1-1 count here on Keaton Rice. Lefty on righty. Sorry, lefty on lefty. Rice from Bradley College. Hit .214 last season. Just one home run, but 40 walks. Very, very patient. And this one will be a fastball that just comes into the zone here. Count now 1-2.
Dunn, much like the rest of the bullpen, has looked relatively sharp. A couple of tough patches here and there, but he's looking to make it another scoreless inning for that Mariners bullpen.
Pinch hitters in this game are 0 for 1. Trinas Ozuna unable to reach base. Here comes the 1-2 to Keaton Rice. And he will take this one back to second. Picked up by Fedko. Throw to first is in. Oh, it's going to get by Seymour. That's going to allow a run to come around to score. So a wild throw there by Christian Fedko. Seymour had to almost come off the bag and stretch to make the play. And he's unable to glove it, so another run will come across the score. That'll be ruled as a throwing error.
Yeah, Rice was running down the line, not exactly too fast, so just need to take a little bit more time making that throw if you're Fedco, but ball gets away, and that's going to be an unearned run for Chatham.
So that'll not be charged as an earned run to Devin Dunn. With 2 away, he's still trying to get out of this, but it's become a 5-0 lead here for the Chatham Anglers. This pitch comes in, strike 1 right off the bat. Thrown to another pinch hitter.
It's Jorge Arenas at the plate.
Yep. So breaking out all the subs here is Coach Holliday. Big swing and a miss. Taking on that one way out in front of it was Arenas. Arenas, the infielder from Stetson, originally from Miami Shores, Florida.
Jake DeGrom, also a Stetson guy, so known to have some pretty good ball players out there down in Florida.
It's an 0-2 count. Devin Dunn trying to get out of the inning without another run scoring, and he cannot get Arenas to chase a fastball down in the zone.
Not to mention the Anglers with a lot of MLB alum that have had some successful careers. Hall of Famer Jeff Bagwell being one of them. Chris Bryant as well, winning an NL MVP just a couple of years ago.
1-2 count. Arenas will foul that one off. Yeah, definitely a lot of good alumni there.
The late Thurman Munson, longtime Yankee catcher.
Renus was originally going to play with the Waynesboro Generals last year in the VCBL. Only got to play in 7 games before an injury ended his season. So another guy kind of back on the mend after a pretty good 2019 campaign at Stetson. Started in all 59 games. A 268 average for him, 4 home runs, 38 RBIs. Here looking to extend the inning, a 1-2 count, and he will take this one into right field. Coming in is Ludwig, a diving play, and they say it does get by him. The runner moves up to third, and it's going to be men on the corners with 2 away here. The inning just will not end for Harwich.
Yeah, I think they'll call that one a base hit, but the right fielder out there, Ludwig, really misread that ball from the very start. Took a step back and then realized this ball was sinking on him, and he started sprinting in, unable to make the play. So now runners at the corners.
Almost made an incredible play. Give him credit for the effort there, but it just skirts under his glove. So Keaton Rice moves up to third. Arenas moves up to first. And that will bring up Anthony Villar. Or sorry, Aiden Fernandez. Fernandez today 0 for 3, a strikeout, a pair of groundouts. A chance to maybe give some insurance runs here. That hit, Colin, just brings Chatham even with Harwich on the hit counter, 6-6. But in the run column, it's 5-0 as this one's fouled away into the Chatham bullpen. As Colin looks nervously over at his car.
And actually, the bottom of the order in this one, just one hit between Fernandez, VR, and Bologna, but 2 runs scored, both of them coming from VR, and he actually owns the only hit as well.
And a broken bat on that, so they'll have to hook Aiden Fernandez up with a new one.
3 strikeouts and a double play as well, so an interesting day for the bottom of the order for the Anglers.
For as well as the offense has played for them in this game, they've definitely gotten a big lift from mistakes. The first run came in on a walk, then 2 scored on a home run, and then the other run that scored came in on an error. So really just 3 earned runs in this entire game for the Anglers. Runners on the corners, 2 away, a 1-1 count here on Aiden Fernandez, who picked up a new bat. He'll watch this one low in the dirt, and the count at 2-1 here. And that'll prompt Jackson Greer to come out and have a word with his pitcher here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. I believe there are no mound visit limits.
Right.
So you can make as many of those as you need.
And in terms of pace of play, though, they really make up for it with the fact that, A, not a lot of pitching changes in between innings, and the way these guys pitch when they're in the windup, they don't waste any time getting the ball back from their catcher and delivering their next pitch.
And that's not just the guys on Harwich's team either. We've seen that so far through 3 different teams,
Absolutely.
through several different pitchers. Everybody's like, let's get through this game. The hitters are very aggressive. The pitchers work very quick. Dunn comes back to work here 2-1. He'll miss that one in the dirt. And the count now at 3-1. So with second base open right now, 2 away, just looking for 1 more out. If VR does manage to reach, or Fernandez, sorry, it'll be Anthony VR on deck as he swings through this one here, and the count has been worked full.
VR, of course, reaching all 3 times that he's made it to the plate. Second baseman having himself quite the game.
Yep.
Little bit of luck involved, though, of course, as well with that error.
Yep, reached on a walk, reached on an error, had a base hit as well. 2 runs scored for VR. But here it's the payoff pitch from Dunn. Runner takes off. This one will be hit high in the air. Settling under it here is Seymour, and he will make the catch to finally end the inning, but not before Chatham tacks another run on. They lead it 5-0. Harwich down to their final 3 outs. We head now to the 9th and potentially final frame. When we come back, you're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. We head to the ninth and potentially final inning here. Harwich will have the heart of the order coming up to try to make one last stand, but before they will be doing it against a new pitcher, and they will have to go up against Dawson Merriman, who comes in to try to close the door shut here with a 5-run lead. Colin for Merriman, pretty decent season just a year ago, a 3.02 ERA through 80 innings pitched, 97 strikeouts in the Midland region. He's from Midland, Texas, and another one of those JUCO guys, Midland JUCO College. So
Midland, of course, mentioned in the book Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
Big football town.
Now batting for Harwich.
As you can imagine, most places in Texas are. So Joe Lamuccio will lead things off here. And he will actually be pinch hitting in place of Nico Cavadas.
Midland with a big rivalry with Permian. Well noted in that book.
So Lamuccio trying to get things started here for the Mariners, down to their final 3 outs. Coach Englert will go righty against righty here against the hard-throwing Dawson Merriman. First pitch, they're going to check down the line, and they say he checked it enough, so the count 0-1.
Pitch really bearing in on the right-handed hitter.
Lamuccio will foul this one off, and behind now 0-2. Did not play in Game 2 of the season, but did get a start in the opener against Falmouth.
Made a couple of nice defensive plays out in center field.
Yep. He had an RBI single back in the 5th inning of that game and also reached and scored on an error. And this one will come inside and hit him, so Lamuccio starts the inning off on base, courtesy of a bean from Dawson Merriman.
Yeah, and up to that point, it was Dane Acker who looked really strong, retiring the last 5 batters he had faced. And he comes out after 2 innings of work, with just 1 hit allowed, no runs, didn't walk anyone, and he struck out 1 batter.
Yeah, kind of an interesting decision to go ahead and pull him. Again, you mentioned he had pitched pretty well, but they instead go with the sidearm hurler in Dawson Merriman, who puts the first runner on base. And that'll bring up Joey Weimer. He'll get his 3rd official at bat of the day. Reached on a walk and stole a base back in the 5th. Aside from that, 0 for 2 with a ground out and a ground out into a double play, and he'll watch that one go by for a strike to even the count at 1-1. Check the runner over at first. Lamuccio in there safely.
Weaver, one of 2 guys left in scoring position in this game for the Mariners. But in total, they've left 8 men on base through 8 innings.
And that's really the big number of the game. This one taken right back up the middle for a base knock. Lamuccio will hold up at second, and Joey Weimer reaches base. So maybe a little 9th inning rally here, started by the Harwich Mariners.
The right fielder,
That's
number 13,
good
Michael
piece of hitting
Woodley.
there from Weimer up the middle. That's right where you got to put it if you want to get a ball past Ben Ramirez, is immediately up the middle. And so he gets the job done, and now the tying run is in the hole, so still a little ways away. But with nobody out, gives the Mariners some hope here in the top of the 9th inning.
Yep, plenty of work to be done. This will bring up Mike Ludwig, who today is 1 for 3. Had an excellent game against Bourne just a few days ago, and he's swinging at the first pitch. Goes right through that one, and the count 0-1. Ludwig, the Wake Forest product, getting some more work here. He was an all-star for the Amsterdam Mohawks in the PG CBL last summer, I should say. Here he faces down an 0-1 count against Merriman. Kicks, fires. Big swing and another pitch, and he's fallen behind here 0-2.
And one thing to look out here for Dawson Merriman is his really nice break on his curveball. Goes corner to corner in the zone, so pitch starting in the up and away to a lefty could end up down and in an instant.
Merriman brings the pitch home, and there it is. Pulls the string on him and 1 away here as Mike Ludwig goes down on strikes looking.
Great backdoor breaking ball
The
for
second
Merriman.
baseman, number 21,
That's
Christian Fedko.
a lot of right-handed pitchers' bread and butter when it comes to facing these lefties.
So that'll bring Christian Fedko to the dish. He is 1 for 3 today, a base hit back in the 7th, a strikeout and a ground out to add to his totals today. Runners on first and second, one away here in the home or the visiting half of the 9th. Harwich down to their final 2 outs. Here's Merriman's first pitch, that one inside, and that'll miss for ball 1.
Fedko 1 for 3 on the day with a strikeout, ground out to short, and a single in the 7th inning.
Saw Fedko really get a hold of one that he drove foul. If he could straighten that out, that might help his cause. That will not, however, as he swings well under that pitch. Something off speed and high, and the count even at 1-1.
Yeah, Fedko does a good job of taking the ball the other way back in the 7th. And the first really hard-hit ball that we've seen from the Mariners throughout the game that has gotten down, and now Weimer with one here in the 9th as well.
Merriman comes set, the 1-1. That'll miss low and inside again, so the count 2-1. Yeah, it's just got to be about getting on base right now, move the line around. The man standing on deck is Jackson Greer, who has the only home run of the season for Harwich so far, through almost 3 complete games. So Fedko back to work, standing in from the right-handed batter's box. Righty on righty matchup here. Merriman sets, checks the runner on second, the 2-1. That one will be swung on, weak contact, and they say it comes off the foot of Fedko. So the count now 2-2 to add insult to injury. Got his own foot there, and he'll take a couple practice swings to try to shake that one off.
Now this will be big if Fedko can get on base, because it does have Jackson Greer on deck, and we know he's a power threat with the home run he hit back on Wednesday.
But it won't be that helpful if there are 2 outs, so Fedko trying desperately to avoid that. Stepping off the rubber for just a moment to get himself situated is Merriman. Merriman comes set. Checks the runner, big side, 2-2 pitch. Big sweeping curveball, got him swinging. 2 away on strikeouts.
I mean, this guy's got some nasty stuff, especially with that off speed. And that's something you kind of have to have if your fastball isn't overpowering. Although he is able to maybe get it into the mid-90s, but it's really important to have that huge breaking ball, and it has been working for him here in the 9th.
So the last hope for the Mariners today comes up. It'll be a weakly hit ball. That'll fall in the little Bermuda Triangle in the infield, but they flip to the pitcher in time, and that will do it. Chatham hangs on to win by a final of 5-0. We will step away, and when we come back, we'll wrap it up with a quick post-game coming up right after this. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back one last time to Veterans Field. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey here to put the cap on this one. Harwich falls in a tough loss, 5-0. They actually end up out hitting the Anglers 7-6 in this game, but are unable to score a single run. And the most important number, Colin, it's got to be the number 10. 10 runners left on base for the Mariners in this one. They had plenty of opportunities, but were unable to capitalize as they fall to this one and fall on the season to 1-2.
Yeah, it's a really tough game when you can't drive home any of those guys you have on base with 2 outs. So 2 out hitting, a huge factor in why Harwich was unable to get the job done, unable to get on the board in this one, despite out hitting Chatham. It doesn't really matter how many hits you get if you can't push any runs across. So it's going to be a tough loss for Harwich, but quick turnaround tomorrow in Cotuit. We'll see if they can take down those Kettleers and try to get back to 500 on the season.
Yep, they'll try to take down a Kettleer squad that took down the Brewster Whitecaps today by a final score of 8-2. A couple other scores to pass along to you. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Falmouth Commodores could not settle things in regulation. That game ends in a 9-9 tie. And right now in Wareham Gatemen are trying desperately to salvage this one. They're tied up 4-4 with the Orleans Firebirds with 2 away, trying to get one more run scratched across and walk it off. If not, we will have a 2-tie day in the Cape. But that'll do it for us here in Chatham. The Chatham A's able to get the win 5-0 over the Mariners of Harwich. Harwich falls to 1-2 on the season. Chatham improves to 3-1. We will see you tomorrow at Cotuit. That's been it for Tyler Henry, for Colin Casey, and everybody on the Mariners Radio Network. I'd like to say thank you for listening. Harwich falls 5-0, and you got it right here on Harwich YouTube Network.